Alright. What the heck is going on, everybody? Down here at the bottom left side, we've got Onside Gaming Solar coming out first for Onside. It's the grand finals of the WTL playoffs. And Onside, you might be wondering, why haven't we seen many matches of them? It's because they destroyed the regular season. And if you destroy the regular season, you get put straight into the finals. Their opponents, on the other hand, did not do well in the regular season and have had to fight through 4 or 5 series. And they have been carried by, of course, Clem pretty damn hard, but they're sending Elazer out first, who's going for a 12 pool. And it's really important to try to get some wins here. If Elazer can get a map off Solar and clear him out, that's huge, because Solar is actually one of the best Zergs at beating Clem. He definitely has a shot at taking him down. We've still got Maru in the wings for Onside, another massive problem for Clem. And oh my, Elazer is going hard. Go hard or go home. They say that is a 10 drone pull. 11. He's pulling 11, all but 3 drones. Check this out, guys. He's got his drones on control group 1, his Lings on control group 2, and Solar sees it. Solar immediately knows, oh my, I am being all in. We never see this anymore. Is he going to build an Evo? Sometimes people build an Evo chamber up here to block spine crawlers from being built against the edge. I know that the Europeans love that, and then they cancel the Evo chamber. You do want to let the natural finish, because that gives you supply, gives you 6 supply and more production. But man, this is going to be interesting. Yeah, he didn't block it. Solar didn't block it. Okay, let's see if that costs him here. He's going to stack his drones up. Ooh, the drones and the Zerglings coming in for Elazer right now. This is going to be really exciting. That is 3 spine crawlers, and Solar's waiting for his Lings. His Lings are still 10 seconds away. He's waiting for them. Stacks up the drones. The Lings cannot fight the drones when they're stacked up in the pocket like that. So Elazer waiting, though. Those spines are almost done. The spines are almost done. There we go. He's going to fight. The drones are fighting, but they are taking a lot of damage from the Lings and the drones. The spines are almost done. I think Elazer can pull back again. Elazer, nice pulling back from Elazer. He can get back in there. That spine crawler is going to have to cancel. Oh, cancel it. No, he lets it finish. He lets it finish. The spines are doing massive damage. His Lings and drones are getting surrounded, though, which is a problem. Oh, he does take out 10 workers, almost 11 there. Moving a spine crawler forward already. It's in range of the other ones. Oh, the Lings and the drones are a little bit slow to fight there. Has this been too much damage? I think Solar had a good enough surround. I think Solar's got this. The spines are being focus fired here. They have 2 armor. The 2 armor on the spines tanking very well. Is it going to be enough? 6 drones to 8 right now. He needs more damage. That spine crawler survived for a bunch of extra hits. That was a big mistake. There's still a spine crawler alive right now, and Solar has to tap out, pulling back from killing that spine just a second too early. We have to do some analysis of this. Like I said, the Evo chamber up there is very standard to block this exact spine positioning, but man, I still felt like he got a good enough surround here and killed a lot of Elazer's Lings and drones, so I thought he might be able to do it. The problem is, I just want to show you guys, I always talk about this 2 armor, and sometimes people say, Pig, why do you keep talking about 2 armor? Why is that important? Zerglings only do 5 damage in attack. That goes down to 3. The Queen, its anti-air attack is a 9 damage attack, but its anti-ground is 2 4 damage attacks. Those become 2 damage attacks. So you're doing only 50% of your damage with the Queen. Your Zerglings are only doing 60% of their normal damage. Drones also 5 damage, only 60%. So all these units kind of suck at killing spine crawlers. Is very important. So 300 hit points might not sound like that much, but with 2 armor, that's the only static defense that starts with 2 armor. It's so powerful. So that's really big, and that's why look how much bloody damage it tanks here, where you can see its health bar if I zoom in a bit clearer. And his Queen didn't attack it, and he got distracted by the Lings and the drones going in and out. And this was such a bummer, because he thinks, oh yeah, I've killed the spine, let's pull back. And then he has to go back. So he loses the Queen and an extra couple of drones there, has no money to build anything else, and it's game over. Alright, guys. That was a very nasty way to drop the first map. Solar has lost his life already. He's going to be eliminated in this 2 games versus Elazer, and he's going to now open up pretty standard once again. Elazer also opening up standard game 2. If Elazer can 2-0 him, that will deny Onside getting a point, and it'll keep him only on 1-0. Remember, you only get 1 potential point, but you can deny his point and keep your life alive to force out their next opponent. And that would be fantastic. Already, this is a good start. Because a lot of their previous series, other than Cure winning, I think, 1 series, Clem has basically had to all kill Shopify Rebellion, DKZ, and Basilisk. So 3 separate teams, Clem has had to do the vast majority of the heavy lifting. And having already seeing your teammate now take a map early has got to feel good. Because I really do feel like Maru is the final boss in this series. I mean, Clem has showed TVZ, he can play all day. He can beat Raynor and Serral and Raynor over and over again even. The best Zergs in the world. He's done very well versus top Protoss players. Hero, he destroyed. Trigger, he took down with ease. But Maru and Ryung, two very powerful Terrans. We were talking before the series started about how Ryung is actually very good strategically. Back in a Casters team league we did a while ago where I drafted Clem onto my team. Looks like I was a few years early on drafting him in as the first pick. I think I was last on the first round draft order. So I was like, I was like, and people were like, you're crazy for picking Clem over. I think I picked him over like Dark and a few other players maybe. But I was like, I believe, and he ended up losing TVT to Ryung, which was like, oh no. But I think that's a very different state. A few years ago, Clem, I think that was 2020 maybe, up against a Ryung these years. I also think, obviously, his recent victory over Solar on LAN speaks very well for him. But it's still a hard match. I still think, like, the fact that Elazer's eliminating Solar is pretty massive, because you're expecting Maru to get revived, not Solar. That being said, Maru's been in a real slump lately. I think a lot of people are looking at this and going, is Maru really the final boss pig? And I would say, yeah, he's been crushing WTL. This team league, he's been doing great in. He's been doing bad and everything else, but he's been doing very well in WTL. So as much as there's doubts about Maru's level, for whatever reason, he's been performing very highly in the team league. Chat's pointing out Solar used that same build to beat Dark in the GSL semifinals. It's a mainstay in the Korean scene. Dude, Solar and Dark, it's funny because it used to be, do you guys remember Rogue and Dark about a year ago? Was it 2022? I think it was pretty much most of 2022, I believe. Or maybe it was like from halfway in 2021. Every time Rogue and Dark played, there was a draw. Because one of them would do that all in. It would end up with like no workers on both sides, or they've both lost their hatcheries, but they can't kill each other's extractors or whatever. And it was always a draw game. But this is a pretty big aggression from Elazer. 31 drones into Ling Bane against also the same thing. Actually, wait, there is a Baneling nest for Solar, but he's not morphing Banes till now. Both sides, similar army count. If Elazer can get rid of that Baneling, that would be great. Banelings have 50 hit points and 3 armor, though, so they are very tanky. Elazer's going to play pretty calm for now. Only 2 Banelings on the defense, though. I often make fun of Europeans for thinking they can defend 35 Zerglings with a single Baneling and 2 Queens. It's kind of the me making fun of the greed and just how far they think they can push it. That should be a dead Overlord, though. But his Banelings are not guarding the Queens, and he's not going out there with 2 Queens. With the creep, he could easily kill that Overlord. There we go. Okay, I like this. The Laser's moving out, looking for the Baneling snipes, not quite getting it, but he's got to defend his Queens. And nice. Solar's just trying to push those Queens back, and he's going to keep the Overlord alive. Well done. Solar's got a Roach Horn, as does Elazer. Both sides gearing up for some Roach Bane aggression. 2 more Overlords building for Solar. And he starts droning. I thought he was going to go aggressive, but no, both sides are droning. Solar has the aggressive stance, though, and look at that. Look at that. He gets into the main base, and he sees no Lair. Lair starts the moment that dies. I like that. Because Solar's like, ooh, you might be aggressive here. You've got a Roach Horn finishing and no Lair started. So Elazer immediately is like, let's make a Lair drone up and get to that next step. I like that. Evo Chamber down for the Wall-Off. No more scouting for you, mate. Sees a drone there. Doesn't quite get a Baneling to detonate on him. Units lost tab is in favor of Elazer. Elazer's played a very good defensive game. Both players are neck and neck at 475 APM. And we've got a fake Roach push coming out. Let's see if Elazer takes the bait. We're on Elazer's camera, guys. He sees Roaches coming, but I don't think he's noticed. And for some reason, there's a Spine Crawler and more Roaches building. Oh, no, this is Elazer's. Elazer is building Spines. Okay, so Elazer's panicking. Building Spines, building Roaches. He hasn't started his +1 range yet either. Oh, so it's a fake, dude. It's a fake. He's got to cancel that Spine. And now he realizes what's happening. He should be canceling this Spine Crawler for sure. The Roaches walk all the way up to his base. Solar ballsy there. Trying to get as big of a fake out as possible with 2 Roaches. Was it 3 Roaches, a few Banelings, and a few Zerglings? Lair is finished. Spire already goes down for Elazer. Solar saw that the Lair is finished. But he didn't see a gas in the main. He does see a 4th gas going up there. And both sides are going Spire. Oh, this is going to get weird. So if you choose to go heavy into the Mutalisks here, usually it favors you. Or if you scout, he's going Spire, and you swap, you don't use your Spire, you maybe even cancel it, and you go into like Hydras, or potentially straight on up to Lurker Hive can be good as well. Lurker Hive Viper. But the thing is, if you build 6 Mutalisks, say as Elazer, Solar builds 8 Mutalisks, then he wins the Muta fight and gets all the advantages of the Mutalisks with map control, killing overlords, while you've wasted money on essentially a dead tech path. Obviously, it's not that simple. You can commit back into Mutas to try to steal that advantage back, but it's going to be hard to do that. 4th base getting damaged. Elazer will defend this base. Oh, he lets him escape, though. A little sloppy. Overseer has not seen that Spire yet, but it's about to. I think maybe he could have moved up there to defend it, but Solar sees what's up. Now, Solar's actually killing that 4th base right now. You're kidding me. Wow. He actually kills the 4th. Well done. I mean, it's a cancel. I should say it's a cancel, not a kill. So a partial refund for Elazer. 3 Mutas on the way for Elazer. 8 for Solar. So Solar's committing harder to the Mutalisks. I would say that favors him. Right now, we've got a few more Roaches and Lings on the map for Elazer. He's running around with these Roaches as well, but Elazer just hasn't been scouting. He's not checking for the Spire. What's going on? Did he lose an Overseer? He didn't even try to Overseer scout. Very lazy. Very lazy. Elazer does go up to 7 Mutalisks, but there's already Flyer Carapace. Solar knows what's happening. Elazer doesn't. If you don't realize you've both gone Spire, it's so bad, man. Let's go to Elazer's camera. He sees the Mutalisks for the first time. It dawns on him what's happening, and he immediately tries to go 8 gas. And it looks like he's going to try and play heavy Mutas. His Lings get taken out in the south. He hasn't started air armor yet. You can see he's frantically trying to react to air armor is necessary. He starts air attack because he doesn't have the gas for armor. At the moment he looked at it. Now, why is armor better? It's because Mutalisks bounce twice. First bounce does 3 damage, next bounce does 1. Technically, it's 1/3 on each bounce, but obviously with no upgrades, it's 3 and 1. And Carapace is going to, of course, affect all of those. The minimum damage any attack in StarCraft can do is 0.5. Keep that in mind. But even having a single Carapace is going to mean the last bounce does 0.5, the second bounce only does 2 rather than 3 damage, and the first bounce goes down to 8. So Carapace is a much more valuable upgrade. The other thing you can do to mitigate those bounces is if you have a bigger ground army, you can hold position underneath your Mutalisks, and because the bounce always goes to the nearest target, it'll bounce onto ground units rather than other Mutalisks, allowing your Mutalisks to win out the air war. Solar's in charge, though, right now. He's large and in charge. He's had that Mutalisk advantage. He gets on top of the 4th, denying the gas mining there. And yes, you got a Roach advantage, but with no spores, honestly, if Solar just goes forward, he's 17 Mutas only for Elazer, 21 for Solar. If Solar just runs forward with his Mutas, he might be able to just kill this 4th base. And if he gets rid of the 4th and the gas mining there, that could be lights out, especially if he hits a timing with +1 Carapace. Elazer right now is coming across this map, but man, he is down on that Mutalisk count. It's turned into a mass Mutalisk war. A few Roaches do go down, which is nice, but look at that, splitting the Lings for a run by Solar. Goes across the map right now. Lings coming up for a bit of a wraparound on the Roaches. His own Mutalisks come forward. Elazer needs to get out of there, but he does get pushed back on the left side. The Lings do defend. Elazer needs to get home. Elazer's trapped on the wrong side of the map right now. Solar with the interception! And Solar is happy to take this fight. +1 armor versus no upgrades. Now, Elazer's Mutalisks could run away if they go left, but they're continuing to try and attack here. The Roachling trying to fight for Elazer. The Roachling is a decent fight. His Mutalisks go back in. Elazer's trying to distract with his Mutas, but that means he's going to get crushed in the air fight. We can already see he's lost 10 Mutalisks. Solar's only lost 4. These Roaches have a lot of heavy lifting to do, but with Mutalisks there as well, it is looking rough. Solar doesn't even bring all the Mutas home. He's going to continue forward. There are no spores to fall back on. Elazer does not have the Mutalisk count to survive here. He's now got his +1 air attack. It helps, but it's not as good as the armor. The Queens try to come forward to turn that equation in his favor. He does scare Solar back. Elazer's getting a lot of damage done right now. He gets 10 drones. He's going to take out the 4th. Losing the 5th is not that bad, but Elazer moves out there and loses another 3 or 4 Mutas. He's lost double the Muta count, 23 to 11. In the Mutas lost, and in the units on the map, 7 Mutas, a few Corruptors against 27 Mutalisks for Solar. Solar loses his 4th, doesn't matter, he's got a 5th. Loses 11 drones, doesn't matter. He has a 20 Mutalisk advantage. I don't think anything else is a big problem, not with that being part of it. Mutaling now cascading into the north. There is such an advantage on this Mutalisk count. As the rest of these Mutas come forwards, they will overtake in the ground and the air. 2 Corruptors against 23 Mutalisks. I'm not that good at doing number crunching, guys, but I think I can figure out that one. Solar, with the superior scouting, sees the Spire. Elazer doesn't find out till too late, and Solar carries it through from there. All right. Going into the next one, we've got Cure coming out for Team Liquid, and he will be facing off against Maru. Now, this is really good for Team Liquid, because Cure can beat Maru. especially in like best of ones. Like he can go 1-to-1. I doubt he 2-0s Maru. He never beats him in a best of 5, but he has a lot of close series with Maru. So I think he can take maps, and that's all you need. Now Maru is just going to open up with a double proxy Reaper. He's just going to rush Cure. Cure tends to play pretty safe though, so we'll see if he can hang on and defend it as the 2 barracks goes forward in the front. This is double 14 racks as well. This is as committed as they come. Not a 15 racks, double 14 racks Reaper, which means he builds 2 SCVs at the start, and then his command center sits idle for a good 30 seconds, gets the barracks, the gas, the second barracks, and only now goes back to SCV production. So definitely a very committed attack, needs to do a fair amount of damage. If he loses one of his Reapers very early without getting many kills, that's terrible for Maru. Likewise, if Q's first Reaper dies early, it's almost game over for him. So keep your eyes out. The first micro is going to be huge. Every Terran watches their Reaper as they jump down this ledge and then immediately turns around and runs back when they see what's happening. If Q isn't watching that, we're going to be in trouble. So I'll swap to this camera. Q is player 1, so just selected the camera there to make sure I knew who was who. So I'm ready to select his camera the moment we get into that moment. And if he's not looking and he loses that Reaper, can pretty much type GG then and there. Second gas going down, SCV going forward to build the second depot, and let's go, guys. Q building a factory, pulling a few workers off gas. He did an SCV scout this game. Let's see what he's doing, guys. Reaper comes out, he puts it on a control group, he sends it to the tower. He's not watching. He looks at it, he sees. Great eyes, okay. That's why we look at that. He immediately pulls 6 SCVs. 7, that's a massive SCV pull. Taking no chances. And I think that's a good move. I think that's a pretty good move. He could move 1 or 2 SCVs there. I think moving 1 or 2 SCVs there so that if the Reapers do jump north, that could do quite well. But Maru knows he's being spotted, so he goes to the front, kills the SCV, building the factory. Oh, that was cute. That was pretty cute. Bounces Maru's Reaper to the inside. A bit slow to rebuild the factory. And he goes Cyclone first. Now, Cyclone is the safest unit here. It's the best at just straight up fighting. He's also putting Marines after his second Reaper. Oh, the Reapers need to pull back for Cure. Oh, Cure's got to be careful. Oh, Maru with the focus fire gets one. Oh, Cure needs to kill him. Okay, Cure gets one. But look at this. Look at this. Maru, he can get another kill. He gets 2 Reapers down. The Marine is here. There's nothing there to guard it. He's got 10 seconds till the Cyclone's here. Can he kill a few more SCVs? He's traded 2 Reapers for 2 Reapers, a Marine, and 4 SCVs. A good trade for Maru. Is it enough to get him ahead? I would argue probably. Command center has to build on the high ground for Cure. And he is down 2 workers. Now, Maru's command center hasn't started, but there we go. Starts on location. It's only a few seconds later. Definitely looks like an advantage for Maru. It's not game winning, but it's positive in his favor. And I do wonder if 7 SCVs was too many, because he lost so much mining time, did Cure. And that really is very costly. I also do feel like even though the Cyclone is the better unit, it does take 11 seconds longer to build than a Hellion. There's an argument behind just having the unit out faster is better. But of course, Cyclone's got a bit more staying power. And SCV goes down. Nice grenades. Not even letting the Cyclone lock on. Barracks is burning in the back, so I think he's okay to defend this. And oh, the Reaper's being sneaky. Does get one of those Reapers. Doesn't get the second one. This Reaper dives. Oh, Maru. Maru is playing a very, like, super aggressive kind of dicey YOLO style. But I think it's okay. He's up 5 workers. He's building reacted Cyclones and a medevac behind it. When you're on such a low economy, every SCV you lose is incredibly costly. 2 Cyclones and a medevac on the way for Cure. He's going to try and do a similar style. Right now, though, he is ahead of the curve with his Cyclones number 3 and 4 starting. Cyclones number 3 and 4 should be starting momentarily. There we go for Maru. So it's about a 10-second lead on the Cyclones for Cure. The barracks is burning, but it comes in for one last scout. Is he going to steal the tech lab? He's going to steal the tech lab. Cure's like, Maru takes it! Maru's like, nah. Oh, and he lifts it and lands it so the Hellion can't kill it. Maru! Maru's styling on Cure a little bit there. Delays the Raven by about maybe 10 seconds from that. That's actually, the barracks was going to burn down anyway, so why not block it, steal the add-on, and just buy a few seconds. Maru's feeling himself right now. Maru trying to demotivate Cure a little bit. When you already know that you never beat Maru in the big important series. Oh, but Maru goes a bit too far forward. Oh, lock on the medevac, super big. Attacking in, though. Are we sure about this Cure? Maru's got the spread. He's got the concave. Good pullback. Look, the SCVs are there to tank. Yeah, we should get out of here. Get out of here. Cure, you gotta get out. Get out. Oh, my lord. Cure, why are we fighting? What? He saw the SCVs. The moment they pull SCVs, you just have to run away. He's wasting mining time. You have to get out of there. Same Cyclone count plus SCVs to buffer. That was negative micro for Cure as well. It seemed like he just A-moved. Some of his Cyclones locked on the medevac, some on the enemy SCVs, and he didn't use his medevac for defensive pickups at all. That was bad micro by Cure. I don't like saying, oh, a player did a bad one, but against a guy like Maru, when you have the same units and he's got a few SCVs to buffer, you better micro that fight perfectly if you want to take that one out. Now we find ourselves at a massive negative. Extra efficiency, more than double the efficiency for Maru in this game. And he's got 8 Cyclones, 2 Ravens. He's got no Matrix, so he's just going to go auto turret spam, which seems to be very popular in TVT right now. And it's mech. It's mech. He's going more factories. And you know what? Q doesn't know he's going more factories. Hopefully his teammates tell him after this game if he doesn't have a chance to look at the replay, because it looks like he might just die here. Here we go. Cyclones coming in. SCVs need to be pulled. Q, you need SCVs. No SCVs being pulled. Oh, my lord. He's outnumbered. He's got good positioning. I think he's... Okay, he holds. He holds. Oh, good clutch hold. Clutch hold. Clutch hold there. He does lose his Raven, though. Oh, the drop to get the Raven was very cute. And if he can get his 2 Ravens out of there, I think he'll be okay with that. Maru, even though that trade was not good for him, he does take out the enemy Ravens, keeps a few of his own alive. So we've got 3 Ravens to none, and he's making interference matrix now, is Maru. Wait, is Maru going to keep making Ravens? Is he going mass Cyclone Raven? No way. Is he going to do the troll style? I remember like day 1 of the patch coming out, Special was doing this. It was like just going mass Raven Cyclone against Protoss and Terran. He's like, I'll just disable the big robo or the big mech units. No extra Ravens starting. There we go. There we go. Yeah, he's going to just keep building Ravens. Ravens and Cyclones for days. Very cute mech style. We are going to see barracks out of Cure. Marines do and Marauders do scale better with upgrades than Cyclones, but Cure's already pretty far behind. He's down at only a few workers, but the Raven Energy is a big advantage here for Maru. Oh, that's... I would use a Marine, not a Cyclone to scout, unless you're watching it, which he is. Hurricane Thrusters is almost done for Maru. Scan sees that it is a mech build. Cure can get a tank out. Well, I mean, tanks are great, but they're also easy targets for interference matrix. Ooh. These Cyclone fights seem like a coin toss. I wouldn't say they're a coin toss. We've seen the aggressive player lose twice. That's not a coin toss. That's one coin always loses, the aggressive coin. You have similar unit counts. Oh, the Ravens go down. Maru overextends, but he does get a Cyclone there with the Revenge. Defensive auto turret goes down. Oh, this is a bad fight for Cure, though. Cure's got to be careful about chasing into Maru. And he's building a tank, but it's not down here yet. If you can get that tank to get 1 or 2 shots off, it'll do massive splash damage. Cyclone's coming forward right now. Big numbers advantage for Maru. Auto turrets and SCVs trying to stave him off. This siege tank could get a few big shots off. Good spready from Maru. He dives on the tank. And he gets it. He gets the tank snipe. That's big. That is big. These Marines don't have upgrades. This is a huge window to do damage. There is no second tank building. It only just started. He was not producing that whole time. And that looks like that's going to break him. Maru's on 73 workers and a 4th command center bind. He's going up to 5 factories. The Raven rallies. And, of course, the advantage from the early game. I mean, the early game, I think there was a decent little advantage for Maru. But I think when Cure attacked with his Cyclones, that did not work out. Maru finally breaks in with much superior numbers. And that is going to be a massive victory here for Maru. Just any SCV you force out here, you've got unlimited money. You're on 77 workers. You're building 4 Cyclones at a time. Easy peasy. Cyclone fights are fast, high damage, fragile units that move and shoot, much like a Phoenix battle. Similar to Muta vs. Muta as well. If one player gets ahead in those numbers, it spirals pretty hard one way or the other. Such is the nature of mirror matchups where you've got exactly the same comp, but especially with a move and shoot unit like the Cyclone. We've got the 5 factories up. Second armory? You know, it's funny because you used to never go double armory with Cyclone mech, but it's actually good now. For those who don't know, even the lock-on ability uses the regular Cyclone damage. So getting +1 actually improves the Cyclone all around. And likewise, armor does cancel some of that. Concussive shells is on the way. 1-1 upgrades are finished. Trying to hang on. What can Kua do here against this mech army? It's going to be tanks, Vikings, Hellions coming in. Kua trying to get a bit of map control. And especially with concussive, yeah, if you catch him not looking, I mean, Maru being out of the map like this is a little dangerous. I like the Cyclone run by. It's cute, just picking off SCVs. Rest of the Cyclones coming down here. Cyclones are really annoying units when they harass like this and catch you out of position. Siege tank in the open goes down. The problem is there's too much other units. I think Q is being a little too aggressive too early because there's just so much Viking Cyclone. That's a big problem for him. The tanks are sieging in the middle of the map, though. Kua has got map control back. If Kua brings it back from here against Maru, of all people, this would be pretty epic. Now, Armory's almost finished, so we can start 2-2. I think +2 attack's the most important one. Siege tank gets a good shot off there for Maru. The Marauders come forward. The Siege tank changes targets, which means Kua's Siege tank survives. Dude, Kua's down 30 workers, but he's got an opening right now. Any hole is a goal for this desperate Terran army. His army is so fragile, though. So fragile. There's no medevacs left. They died to the Vikings. There's just 2 rallying across the map. He's going to try to get in and do damage. Maru can lose 10 workers and still be oversaturated on this base. Tanks, Cyclones, Hellions, and Vikings coming on forwards. Siege tanks trying to move forward. If he can get some good tank shots off, this could be massive. Great setup with the tanks. The Hellbats are very tanky, though. 1 tank goes down. The Bio in the north taking big damage. They could get up there in the mineral line. They are taking out depots right now. 2-2s on the way. More Marauders. No SCV production. No 4th base for Kua. Kua is desperately trying to winch an opening here into the very stable defenses of Maru. And we got that drop on the north. He's going to drop around, but his units are so very damaged. I think he'll have to pull that drop back. Kua might have to keep it in his pants. He sees an opening, though, and he says, you know what? Let's keep going. It's a planetary, though. He could siege it with a tank, but it's not the high impact damage he's looking for right now. Marauder does actually take out the Cyclone in the main. That's very cute. And the Liberator slowly clearing up this drop. Army in the middle, those tanks are defending, not really finding anything. Cyclone does go down. 4th command center is building. Q is still massing army. He goes for it. He goes for the bust, but the SCV pull preemptive there from Maru. He trades 15 workers to shut down Kua's aggression, and that should be game. Shutting down this attack, that was the last desperate effort. Now that he loses his forward position, Kua has to gather up, but he's down in army supply against a mech player, which is a disaster. He's trying to fight these units separately, but the tanks, anytime they get a volley off, it is pretty much game ending for him. Ooh. 4th command center, 3/4 of the way done. This is going to be really interesting. Marauders focusing the tanks. They're not siege. This is an awkward battle for Maru. I mean, he could take the tank out with the lib. Doesn't quite get to get it out of there in time. Maybe could have saved it with the medevac, but coulda, woulda, shoulda. The famous saying that talks about backseat gaming. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. 5th base in the bottom left is up. Maru has unlimited money. And whilst Kua did a valiant effort from behind, it looks like Maru's lead from too early is just a bit too strong. To be fair, I think we could argue Maru leaving any opening at all was a mistake. I don't think this really should have been close with how ahead he was. But Kua found the opening, got some damage, but he was just too rich and solid at the end of it all. Also, he was on 3 factories for a long time, right? He's now getting up to 8 factories, 2-2s almost finished. It's an impossible scenario. Kua doesn't have the units to cut off the rally. He also doesn't have the units to stall out the advance properly. He doesn't have air control. So what does Kua have going for him? His army is mobile, and if Maru unsieges his whole army, maybe he can have enough units to barely overwhelm. Maybe. It's going to be hard, though. Does push back the Cyclones, takes the tank shot, though. His siege tanks are pulling back. He's buying time. He's going to have to come in from 2 or 3 sides. If he brings some Marine Marauder over there, brings some over there as well, he could do really, really well. Maru's trying to fight back. And indeed, it is an inevitability that he will be going over there. Obviously, Clem got eyes on this, thinking about how he would play in this scenario as Kua and how he would deal with the mech. I think the answer is don't fall so far behind early. That first Cyclone counterattack for Kua put him on the back foot. He managed to defend one of Maru's counterattacks after that, which was impressive. But I think losing all of his Ravens in that fight put him in a pretty dire position. Command Center taking tons of damage. He's got a fourth on the right, but still losing so much mining is a problem. The Hellbat Cyclone coming forward. The tank does get focused down. The Bio will clean up a few of these Hellbats, but Hellbats are so tanky. I love the interception in the middle. Get out of there, Cure. And he avoids the tank volley. Nicely done. He's in between a rock and a hard place, though. The Vikings, the Cyclones, the Hellbats. He has to do a second stim. His medevacs are gone. He can kite a little bit. You can see without the healing how nasty that is. He does break the tank line on the front with an SCV pull. I love that Q is out here fighting so hard. His army supply is pretty similar. He's coming from the south as well, but he takes a big tank shot. 3 Marauders go down. He does hot pick up and save one of them. Vikings once again cleaning these medevacs up, though. He doesn't have a chance to heal. Every moment that goes by, he's forced to stim, and then his medevacs get shot down. He cannot heal. And so his army is simply dying from the pace that Maru is pushing across this map. This is very difficult to see. This is absolutely ridiculous. Viking Lib coming forward. Siege tanks as well. Marauder Marine trying to pull to the right side. Marauder Marine tank up in the north as well. Vikings are there. The Hellbats buffering. The tanks shooting the Libs as well. The Vikings, are they going to land? I think they will. No, they're just going to take out the medevacs. No land on the Vikings. Doesn't want to risk losing all of them. Oh, he does end up landing. Better late than never, I guess. And the scan a little too late to land a tank volley on those Vikings. Liberator's going to siege up and break the tank position. A single Marine, no answer for that. Cure tries to avoid the Lib zone, and he does. One Marine is going to take out the Lib. Survives a tank shot to the face. Well done, mate. Well done, Billy Bob. But I just feel like we're watching the efforts of a man that is already 6 feet under. 3-3 on the way for Maru. I do think one thing Cure could have done, guys, is he shouldn't have bothered with +2 armor. Because it's not really Cyclone focused after the early game. There's only ever a couple Cyclones mixed in. What are you using your arm against, you know? The tank does 40 damage or 80 damage. Knocking one off that does nothing for your Marine Marauder. It helps a tiny bit against the Hellions, but normally they're in Hellbat form. They're more for tanking than dealing damage. So technically you can skip the armor upgrades when you're playing Bio versus Mech. They're not a high priority. And maybe you could have got a few more units out with that money, but we're really nitpicking at like the tiny details that he could do to optimize his chances in this game. He was in a rough spot from early on, and you can see he's vastly outnumbered. The Panzer line sieges up, and they just blast off massive damage. Maru taking game 1 against Cure. All right, guys. Cure in the top left now of Oceanborn. Let's see what he can bring out against Mr. Maru. Maru's going for a 1-Rex expand. We know that because he's only got 1 gas. And he will be SCV scouting to make sure he is not getting proxied right now. Not a bad way to do it. CVs are there. Reaper comes up quite a bit faster for Maru than Cure. Why is Cure's barracks 3 seconds late? That's weird. So it looks like maybe Cure started his depot a second late, his barracks 1 or 2 seconds late. That does add up over time. SCV's coming in. Oh, Command Center going up on the natural. He does see it. Get a bit of harassment. Let's go. Taste my drill. Now, if he stays here any longer, the Reaper will catch him, so he does go home. Reaper's going to be out in 8 seconds. It's a crisp Reaper there. Big thank you, Wing Zero. Going to give you a massive shout out after this game. Thank you for the support, mate. Dude, what an epic adventure it's been this week, watching Team Liquid fight through. It's if they can take out Onside as well, and like ends up with like Clem, I don't know, like Cure loses here, Clem goes out, goes 1-1 with Maru or whatever, and then fights for his life and beats him in the revival 2-0. I don't know, like I just feel like there's just so much chance for excitement in this series and a lot of hype around it, for me at least. Remember that, of course, Cure is fighting for a point right now. Maru is not. Maru already got a point in his 2 matches against Cure, so he's just fighting to deny Cure and to keep his own life alive. If Cure can get the map, he'll tie up the series, and he'll be forced to be Ryung versus Clem in the 3rd match. Whereas if Maru wins this game, that's much better. If Cure takes this map, I would say there is a massive advantage for Team Liquid. With both players trading, and the 2 weaker players for Liquid trading against the 2 stronger players for Onside would be an amazing way to start things off. Oh, pullback. Good pullback. Alien coming across as well. We've got a reactor on the way for Cure, Cyclone, and a starport. Maru's starport's on the way as well. He's also building a Cyclone. He's going to go across with a Reaper. Reaper Alien's going to jump up. There's only 1 Marine on the ledge. Ooh, he's caught being greedy. Oh, he's caught being very greedy. Oh, Maru. Maru, you naughty boy. Good micro on the SCVs, though. I like that. Just remember, the grenade only buys you so much time because of the grenades. Oh, I don't know about using 2 grenades on top of each other, though. He's going to get one more SCV, and then he should move to the natural and leave, I think. No, he's going to go for broke. Gets 5 SCVs. Focuses down one more. Where's the repair? Oh, okay. Good micro by Maru, and Kua should have started a step forward to get the 6th kill. I still think that's great. Delaying the starport, killing 5 SCVs, getting a bunch of mining time for 2 Reapers, massively worth it. And that is a punish on Maru for going bunker, single Marine into reactor, and then even sending the Reaper across, or 2 Marines, sorry, into reactor, and then sending the Reaper across the map as well. It's pretty wild. Now, we're going to see a Cyclone attack on the natural and a Liberator in the main. I don't like it. I think Q is... So why don't I like this strategy? You might be wondering. The reason is he's got a bunker. Unless Maru sells this bunker, he's going to be very defensively oriented in this series. I don't see why you would focus on going for a Liberator unless he's going out for a 3rd base. I think like he's sitting behind a bunker, he's going to be pretty safe. Oh, save it! Save it! Oh my gosh, Q waited very long there. He does save it. Just trades damage for damage, which is fine. He should go home and repair that now. No reason to leave that Reddit point Cyclone with the army. He's going to rotate 2 new Cyclones in. 3rd command center on location. Very greedy now. That's his 2nd barracks before 3rd command center. What is Maru up to? Is Maru going to play a 2-base build? He cancels the Raven and Interference Matrix. Yeah, he's going to go for a 2-base build into Stim. Oh, but the Cyclones do take out that Cyclone. They take out the Marines as well. He's going to go for a circling here. The SCVs are going to trap him. And it's going to be 5, 6. Can he get 7? 7 SCVs go down. That's a great trade. Dude, Maru's economy is in the dumpster right now. Q is all over him. If this was anyone else, I'd say massive advantage for Q. Oh, Liberator comes in on the natural. You know what? It actually does damage. 2 SCVs and just go home. It's worth it. It's actually worth it. He's already done so much economic damage. He's killed 14 SCVs. Oh, damn. There's a Viking there. That was a dumb siege up. Now he's going to lose that Liberator. That was silly. Silly move for Kua. There was no reason to siege that there. He knew there was a Viking on the map. He just forgot about it. Raven and Cyclones coming forward. Still looking very good for Kua. Remember, if you're behind, if you're behind against Maru, you're dead. If you're even, you're behind, and if you're ahead, you're even. It's a dumb little saying, that a phrase that Artosis said. Sounds kind of flippant and silly, but it really does encapture how good Maru is at making comebacks and how hard it is to finish him off, even with an advantage. I think it was the Hero Marine versus Maru game on Jagannatha, where he was miles... Actually, no, it was... Oh, hold on. Here we go. Interference Matrix on the tank. We're going to bust a bunker. Cure, you mad dog. What? This is a crazy move. Cure, why are we attacking into a bunker? What's the point? At most, you were going to kill a bunker there, which is 100 minerals. It's worth nothing for your Raven energy. No, Cure, keep it in your pants, mate. Go home. There's no reason to still be out here, other than delaying the 3rd moving out. Now, does he realize this is a 3-rack split? He's seen 2 barracks. So Q is also going for a greedy 3cc build, and yet he's throwing units into a 2-base all-in. This doesn't make sense on multiple levels. He should not be fighting. I like him threatening to fight. I don't mind him trading Cyclone versus Cyclone outside of tank range. It's a good idea to threaten, but he should not be committing to the fight. He wants to slow Maru down, and he should be going just like, okay, I've just got to survive, get Vikings, get tanks, try to survive, because that's his whole goal, because he's way ahead on workers, but he's way behind on Marines right now, 24 against 8, and of course, with Stim finished, Shields and +1 is a little bit ahead for Maru, and Maru has those barracks pumping. 3 barracks pumping away for Maru. The Cyclone's rotating. Oh, you don't want to get caught. I like that. He's going to try and get home. The Marines for Maru, Stim. I think at this point, you just pull back, repair your Cyclones, and you just try to get your whole army together as Kua. He needs to siege his tank up and try to defend out front his base. Cyclones come forward. He's going to try to bait another Stim out of Maru, gets himself a Marine, gets himself a 2nd Marine in an SCV. This is well done, man. He's only got 1 tank and a few Marines of his own. He may need to pull SCVs. He can lose 20 SCVs as long as he defends this fight. Kua's got this one in the bag. If he can take Maru out here, this will be huge for Team Liquid. Kua is miles ahead. Maru's literally pulling the boys. Kua goes forward there. He sees the boy pull. He's got to pull his own. He's got to pull his own boys. He's not pulling his own boys. He's got to do it. He pulls his own boys. He stims. He pulls back. Kua looking fantastic right now. If he can hold on, he'll be good. A 2nd tank coming in. But nice arc of the Marines. The combat shield's not quite done. It kicks in for Maru in the middle of the fight. Maru's still shoving forward. Oh my lord. Is Maru actually going to break him? Maru's on 25 workers. Kua is on 45. Kua is still miles ahead. He can pull another 20 workers. He can't let these tanks get sieged up though. He's got to pull the boys boys and jump on it, I think, which sucks. You don't want to fight into siege tanks with Marines and SCVs, but he might have to do it. His own 1-1 is finishing. 1-1 is complete. Anti-armor missile goes down, and I think that will be enough. Wait. His Marines are a little far away. His SCVs also need to spread. He's got to spread before he fights. The Marines and the SCVs going. Q is going to try to break it. He needs to break out right here, right now. Maru with a last-ditch desperate SCV pull has actually done it. You are kidding me. You are kidding me! SCV pull is not meant to work in TVT. Maru was so effing dead in this game, but he's done it again. The mad lad bringing out the ridiculous comeback strategy. Kua has got to feel like his soul is leaving his body right now. He can't believe what's happened. How the hell did Maru win from this far behind? And Kura's got to be kicking himself. Maru gets the 2-0, denies Team Liquid's point, and stays in to face Clem. Oh, so unfortunate for Cure. We got to look back at that, and I got to say, I think there was multiple points in this game. We're going to be critical. Maru played very well. He did what he had to do to give himself any chance of victory, but it took some big screw-ups for Cure to let this happen as well. Now, keep in mind, guys, he went in with his Reapers. What did he see? He saw no third command center, 2 barracks. If there's 2 barracks before a third command center, it means Maru is going to have a much later third. Even if he builds a third command center instead of that barracks, you know Maru's committing to a lot more army than you. You also can look at the units lost tab and say, hey, I've lost more army than he has. To kill SCVs, it was a good trade, but you got to think about what that trade is, which is I traded army to do economic damage. So I'm already ahead on the economy. Now I'm even more ahead because I know you're committing to extra barracks. Why did he attack this bunker and throw 2 cyclones away? Because this made no sense. Oh, maybe not 2 cyclones, but look. He wastes 75 energy on the Raven. He loses a Hellion, loses a Cyclone. So 2 Cyclones, a Hellion, and Raven energy for what? A Marine and a bunker. That's basically worthless. And these things don't weaken Maru's future push. So that made no sense for Cure. And if we look at this Raven, guys, this 75 hit point Raven, monitor its energy. Imagine if it had 75 more energy in that final fight. That could have been big, man. It could have been very big. Because it's only got 80 energy when this fight happens. It could have been over 150, which would have been obviously a big difference maker. Now, in the actual fight positioning, obviously, only having 1 tank is kind of a bummer. I think there's an argument that Cure could have unsieged and pulled further back, because anything he does to delay the fight would have been really good. And what ends up happening really nicely is the way Maru spreads his units out, and look at the way his Marines get a firing out. Look at the way he moves those Marines north before A-moving them. His Marines are so spread out, whereas Qs are all kind of in a clump. And now he gets 2 interference matrices, but remember, he could also have dropped an auto turret here and had enough energy for 2 more auto turrets if he'd saved that energy. And I think with a tank firing, and this tank coming in from behind is a little slow to siege as well. Imagine if you have 3 auto turrets here, you hold this position. You'll lose your front tank, keep the other tank alive, you'll be okay. So that attack made no sense. There's also an argument that Q could have even pulled SCVs from his natural, right? I know that's kind of crazy, but he could have. The other thing we can point out is an even earlier mistake, which is the Liberator. This is the first bit of scouting he didn't really pay attention to in terms of how he played. Liberator came in, did good damage. He knew there was a Viking out because he killed it. It had killed his drop before, remember? And then just sieging there made no sense. So throws away the Liberator. If he had a Liberator would have helped in that fight as well. Could have done a lot of damage. So we could have had a Liberator doing damage and a few more auto turrets and 2 more Cyclones and a Hellion. And that absolutely would have changed the outcome of this game. The other thing we can possibly focus on is production for Cure. Maybe he was building SCVs and prioritizing that over Marines or tanks at some point. I don't know. I think we've already seen enough. A few mistakes for Cure here, not doubling down. And this is because Maru is so good at coming back in macro games. His opponents get nervous and start making bad mistakes, being like, I can't let him expand. I can't let him back into the game. And then Maru goes for just the crazy all-in, an SCV pool. Talk about desperate. And I would argue, 9 times out of 10, if you ask me, if you're behind as Maru 10 workers at the 5-minute mark, should you go for a worker pool all-in a TVT or macro out of it? I would say your best chance is macroing out of it. The fact that Q has slipped up here, it was such a surprising maneuver, means I am incorrect in this exact scenario. I'd still say 9 times out of 10, Maru's choice to pull the boys and go for the 3 racks is a silly, silly decision. But right here, and you cannot fault it when it works. Right here, when it worked, it was the right call. Well played, Maru. He gets the win. And now he forces Clem out. That's massive. All right, gang. It is here. Clem, the big boy, the man that has been instrumental in their success so far. And of course, his opponent, Maru, in the top right, showing absolutely zero chill. Yet another double 14 proxy Reaper. Now remember, this is going to be not on the Korean server like before against Cure. It's going to be somewhere on the Americas, Central or West. The players are going to have variable ping, about 150 for both players on average, maybe 140, maybe 130. And that means there is less time to react. I mean, neither player is going to be able to micro as well as they normally can. He's looking for a proxy out there. Is he going to look for the barracks on the low ground? He is. Oh, and he could even harass the SCV a little bit. It doesn't really matter. You're never going to kill an SCV here, as Maru can always swap in the other SCV as needed. Reapers are starting. And do we build a bunker? Building a bunker over there, I think, is a good idea to just shut this down, because you scouted it early enough. Yeah. Oh, he loses his SCV, though. Maru popping his SCV off the barracks does delay it building a little, but that's a pretty good start. And actually, he's going to go double bunker. Oh, Clem playing super safe. You get a bunker on both sides, it means them running in, even if they jump past, they're going to take so much damage on the way through that it becomes kind of cost prohibitive. And Maru's kind of better off just expanding quickly behind it if he realizes what's happening. And nice movement. Oh, he does hit the Reaper away from the bunker momentarily. But yeah, look at that. And that Marine, the Marines are going to build really quickly as well. Marines are cheaper than Reapers, means he can pull off gas a bit more and either get a faster starport, Ken Clem, faster Cyclones, or get a faster command center, or a mix, of course, of everything. And Reaper's going to jump out, jump back in. Got to sit somewhere in between these bases. Oh, look at that. Oh, I like the way his Reaper's going in and out. Good micro by Clem. Very, very cute. But Maru being as annoying as he possibly can. Okay, I think the Reaper should probably get back in that bunker on the right. Cyclone is starting. Great job mitigating any damage here. Extra depot does start. Clem's still building SCVs non-stop. He doesn't want to lose that depot, though. And I think it takes a while for those Reapers to kill it. Only one Marine in this bunker, which means Maru can risk jumping in. That's a risky choice. Look how quick Clem is to unload his Marines. But he turns and focuses the units down. Oh, and you know what? If he can kill all the Marines and the Reapers before the Cyclone's out, he might be able to focus the Cyclone down. But Clem does get rid of one of his Reapers. The Reaper of Clem goes down, though, and his Marine takes a lot of damage. The Marine does not get inside the bunker. At the end of the day, though, you only lose one more SCV there, so I think it's an okay hold for Clem. His command center is about 1/3 complete. Maru's just starting on location. Definitely a cleaner hold for Clem than Cure had in game 1 on Equilibrium. And I love that he SCV scouted, so he had enough time to build the bunker. He just attacked his own bunker. What you doing, mate? Guys, please don't spoil the results in the chat. And if you've seen it, there are going to be quite a few Americans who don't get to watch these tournaments live, as they are in the middle of the night, and haven't caught up on the VODs of the results yet. So just a reminder for anyone watching live. I've personally spoiler-freed the results for myself all week long. I don't know how. I do know the overall score result, but I've purposely avoided knowing who wins what match. I just know that the final team that ended up coming out triumphant. Couldn't avoid that one, of course. Could not avoid that one. Medevac Cyclone on the way. Looks like we will be seeing more reacted Cyclones. Very much. It's such a stable way to open. You can't argue with the Cyclones, because the Cyclones hit such a quick power spike. They fall off, which is why normally you don't see mass Cyclones unless it's a mech build. But definitely something that's going to be interesting. Now, Orbital just started on the natural here, and Maru's only a second later. So these guys are neck and neck with worker production. I think Clem is about half a worker ahead. So you're going to see he's like, no, they're almost dead even. They're almost dead even. Maru's actually half a worker ahead. So Maru here, half a worker ahead in the production. His third command center's ever so slightly faster as well. Clem's going to be the first player to get aggressive. Clem has 5 Cyclones, so Clem does have a lot more army out right now. He's got to be careful going in. 2 Cyclones are capable of doing a lot of damage. Maru's nearby. And grab an SCV and then get out. That's got to be the way to do it. Ooh! Nice. Good micro there by Clem. Forces out the auto turret, gets an SCV, only takes a little bit of damage. Trying to drop there would be beyond ambitious, Clem. Keep it in your pants, mate. Command center is going to go for the orbital. Interference matrix on the way. Second Raven starting for Clem. Maru just chilling. He's got the bunker up to help him on the natural. forcing a bit of repair money out of Maru. Not a bad idea, but you got to leave. Get out of here. Good pullback. We've got 2 Reapers going around the left side for Maru. Maru is up to 2 Ravens against 1. Keep in mind, he's ahead of full Raven, and the reason for that is because he did not go for the medevac. So the more defensive opening is going to net him a bit more energy. And look at this perfect Reaper timing. The Cyclone's still 10, 15 seconds away. This is very frustrating. I mean, sometimes you go for a Reaper run by like this, just as they get a Cyclones out, it doesn't do much, but... Oh, he's going to go for his own Cyclone counter drop. Nice micro here for Clem. He does end up boosting on out of there. He's got a Raven coming in, but the tank will defend it. The Reaper's being very annoying. I would have loved him to drop an auto turret on these bad boys. This is very frustrating for Clem. Even though he microed really nicely, he does lose 1 Cyclone to that siege tank as well as the auto turret. He loses 8 SCVs as well for only 3 in return. Lovely harassment for Maru. And it's from the minimal investment. 2 Reapers units he did not care about anymore. Goes for his 2nd and 3rd barracks. Double engineering bay goes down. Clem does do the same on his side of the map. His 2nd and 3rd barracks are finished. His double engineering bay is there. But Maru has got himself back into, if not a material lead right now, definitely a long-term lead. Few workers ahead. Upper Raven gathering energy. He's got tanks and Marines growing, the units that will be more important later in the game. These Cyclones that Clem has the advantage in right now, if they were to fight, they're not going to be useful a few minutes from now. They're going to be a lower caliber of unit. So Maru's done an excellent job of having his very aggressive build scouted and yet turning this into a good position despite that. Tanks did unsiege. Cyclone's picking off a few SCVs. Gets a turret, actually. Doesn't get the 3rd SCV, but that's okay. I think you're already thinking about how do I defend the attack when it comes from Maru. Maru's got so much Raven energy. It's rather frightening. He's going to move out there with his whole army as Clem. I would worry if I was Clem about presenting a target for Maru to shut down. What I mean is if he can like just interference matrix your tank, spam auto turrets and jump on you on his side of the map, you're kind of giving him a good fight. Like, I don't know if your army's much better right now is what I'm saying. Now, Stim's not there yet, so Clem's going to go for it. The tank, he uses the tank as a literal tank. It does get taken out by the enemy Cyclone. Auto turrets go down, but the defensive turrets for Maru are fantastic. Units lost time is in favor of Clem. As you can see, he looks pretty damn good here. 1-1 upgrades are both about 2/3 of the way complete, almost identical for both sides. 4th and 5th barracks, 2/3 of the way done, whilst Maru's reactors are almost finished. Maru's got a good lead right now. That's a delicious lead, that is. Nebulens with the big 15 months. Thank you, mate. Double gas going in on the 3rd base. I do wonder, is either player going to try to take a 4th on location and go 8 racks? Or is it more standard? Get a 2nd factory, up the tank production, add sensor towers and turrets. Maru's already got a turret there, which is great, slowing down these Cyclone drops. I like that he's using Cyclone drops because the Cyclones aren't that useful in a big fight. Double drop gets in the natural. Siege tank a little far away. That tank not positioned well for defending the mineral line and the engineering base. Gets a few SCVs. He drops in the main base at the same time as well. Marines do defend the natural, but in the main, already up to 6 SCVs going down. Marine stim down here for Clem. And at the same time, army pushing through the middle. Interference matrix goes down, slapping down the boost. That is 2 medevacs going down. Only gets 9 SCVs, but positionally, Clem is out of position. He needs to unsiege all these tanks and move them forward. He's got a tank in the natural and the main that aren't unsieged right now. You cannot let him take that position. Cyclones come in. Great move for Clem. He says, I know you can't be everywhere at once. I'm going to drop up here in that base, but the Marines do react very quickly. Maru on point, slaps down the Cyclone drop. Maru pulled his whole army home to deal with that. Both sides going to fight over this watchtower, and Maru, if he sieges, should maintain this position, but he's a little outnumbered by the Marines. That being said, chasing the other side of the tower is a fool's errand. Whoever overcommits here is in trouble. Massive Raven energy advantage for Maru. Maru gets the anti-armor missile off. Even though he's down in Marines, he's happy to take a fight if he's got the anti-armor missile advantage. And he even interference matrixes the tank, but I think that's an overextension if Maru keeps pushing. Another matrix goes down. Maru forcing the fight with the Raven advantage. Anti-armor missile, interference matrixes, paying dividends. But was it an overextension? Yes, it was. Maru gets a bit too excited. And for once, it's Clem who plays patient, pulls back, and actually lures Maru into an overextension. I'm so used to Clem being the one getting excited and jamming it into a bad angle. But this time around, it was Maru who tried to finish eating his dinner before he cooked it. Tanks here sieging up. Cyclone Marine trying to defend the SCVs, trying to break this position. The tank's getting some big volleys off. I think Clem's happy to lose this position if he can kill all the SCVs, but he might not even lose this position. He forces Maru back, and Maru losing 22 workers, losing a Raven as well. His Marines here getting pushed back. It's equal upgrades. Similar counts on the front right now, but of course, Clem is way ahead with a 4th command center building behind it, and there are no tanks anchoring this position. If the Vikings could take out the Ravens, that would be great. But it is still a very close scenario. Both sides get a tank on an identical timing. Vikings poking forwards. But of course, Maru has stabilized with the tank. He's got his own 4th command center floating out. Clem, he's way, way, way ahead right now. But there is an aura that you now have to take out. Thank you guys for the subs. There is an aura that you have to handle. Now you might wonder, what is this aura you're talking about? It's called Maru's invincibility aura. Basically what happens, guys, is when he's meant to die, he gets to roll a dice. Like it's like a D&D death. It's like, oh no, he's just unconscious, and then oh, he rolled a 4+. He's actually alive, back on 50% life somehow. You're like, what? No other player, no other character has this. But Maru has this weird invincibility rule. He gets to roll multiple dice, get extra chances, and Clem wants to finish him off right now. He wants to go into the grave and punch his face in to make sure he's done for. That's a big drop. That's 2 tanks. That is a lot of Marines. 2 tanks and about 20 Marines going into the main base. Maru does not see it coming. Great positioning here for Clem. 2 tanks sieging up. Marines are in the production line, taking out SCVs, depots, armories, all the good stuff. Maru tries to lift his own tanks to the high ground. And Clem, he jumps on it and then he backs off. He's using scans here to help hold the position, and I think it might just be time to leave. He stays a bit too long. Now he's committed. Clem has to take the fight. That was an overextension for Clem, but it opened up an avenue and it was worth it. Even though he stayed a bit longer than he needed to, look at this damage. Maru trying to doom drop his own 3rd base. When you're doom dropping your own base to try to save it, you know you're in trouble. Clem is on fire lately, mate. And Kua might not have been able to finish it off, but it doesn't matter because the big daddy is here. Confident after destroying 3 teams in a row single-handedly. Clem looking on fire. Alright guys, well, we've now got Maru fighting to get a point, and of course to deny Clem his life. Clem cannot get another point right now. He's only got 2 points. Remember, Ryung hasn't come out yet, but Clem needs to, if he 2-0s Maru here, then he evens out the series. Him and Ryung will be playing on an even footing, and then we'll go into revives with whoever loses from there. If Maru wins this map though, Team Liquid will still be trailing. And we'll probably need to see Clem come out, get revived, 2-0 Ryung, and then rematch with Maru most likely. Or even Solar. Solar might come out. I do think it would probably be Maru though. It's going to be a no scout double gas barracks factory build for Clem. SCV scout double gas build for Maru. Maru playing a little more cautiously than Clem. Clem does send an SCV out though, just to have a little look-see. What's he doing? Is this a proxy starport, mate? Are you going reactor, Hellion or something? Oh, it's just for the Reaper pressure. Right, he's going to try and win the Reaper duel by getting the SCV in there. If the SCV tanks a shot or lands a drill hit on the Reaper, it can make the difference between winning or losing the Reaper fight. Maru was hoping to intercept him on the high ground, but Clem goes to the right side. Command Center normally starts right about now, which means that SCV is a potential target. However, Clem could be presenting his Reaper here to get killed. It's a risky move. Oh, his SCV lands a hit, but Clem should get out. The second Reaper's about to pop. Time to leave. And potentially throw a zoning grenade, and you might be able to defend this SCV from getting sniped as well. Yeah, there we go. Nice zoning grenade. But it bounces them forward, so they should still be able to get it. He needed to bounce them away from the SCV. The SCV does go, whoa, spinning up into the camera. Nice. Cyclone's on the way. Reaper's coming forward. Cyclone's almost finished on both sides. Maru pulling back. Clem picking fights. Clem feeling very antsy right now. He wants to get more damage. Luckily for Maru, the SCV was on the back of the command center. If it was on the front, maybe Clem could have picked it off there. Patient play for both sides as they build a second Cyclone and a reactor each. Clem's reactor is a little bit faster. Command center for both sides very closely timed as well, with Clem being actually about 10 seconds ahead. Not too bad. So it does feel like Clem's had a slightly more confident opening so far. That being said, Maru is 2 seconds ahead on the SCV build time. Watch the worker count. 26 versus 25 for 2 whole seconds. Get wrecked, Clem. Third gas goes up on the natural for both sides. For both sides. That's just it, guys. This is what we call lazy mirror match commentating. Make a statement about what's happening. Look at the other side of the map and just say for both sides each time. Cyclones, 2 Cyclones and medevac for Clem. And the same for Maru. Alright, so we're going to see the drop go across the map a little bit earlier. Maru's going to stay defensive. He doesn't want to get stuck in a multitasking war with Clem. That is very wise. Clem is an aggressive, multi-prong micro god. You do not want to give him any openings, but look at this. Depot spotting, Cyclones and Reapers in the main. And there's a 3rd and 4th Cyclone almost out, so he might even bait Clem into overcommitting. Now, both sides have a Raven this time at the same time. Clem's just a couple seconds faster. And Maru's going to get vision. Don't go in there, Clem. Get out. Yep, good pullback. Great defense this time by Maru. Oh, Maru's going to hunt it. Oh, he's looking for the big one. Oh, okay. Well, Cyclone might be slightly more damaged for Clem. Indeed it is, but both sides medevacs are taking heavy damage. 72 for both. Oh, look at this. He's trying to intercept the drop. If the drop moved to the right, he was kind of thinking about moving out there to try to catch it. Interference matrix for Clem and a 3rd command center on the way. 3rd command center and no interference matrix just yet for Maru. He does need to remember that upgrade. I have seen players sometimes forget this even at the top level. Tech Lab in second. Factory goes down. Oh, we're going to see mech. Okay, Maru wants to slow this right down. Now, I don't know if he's been having shoulder injury issues lately. He's been on a big downswing recently. Quite a few bad performances consecutively over the last few months. So I know in the past he's played a lot of mech or slowed down his playstyle, played a lot more macro kind of rather than aggressive games, because I think he can macro very fast no matter what, but it's when it becomes controlled that it's very reactive. It's very, you know, crazy reaction speed, and that's where his shoulder issues start to play up and send that nerve pain all the way down his arm. Cyclone's coming in for the drop in the main. Oh, you can actually get by that depot. The depot needed to be built on the edge if you wanted to see that. There is still a double Cyclone drop here for Maru. A couple of SCVs. Just one goes down. 2 damage. Nice pullback, though. Interference matrix only now beginning for Maru. I don't think you want to ever push into their natural, though, personally. Hey, he gets a few Reapers. Not bad. One of them goes down. One barely survives. Hurricane Thrust is coming in for Maru, and Clem has no idea that this is the case. So the problem is, he's being aggressive. He scans. Okay, he scans. He sees the Tech Lab factory. He knows right now, okay, you're playing mech. And this is a good choice to pull home, because if you stay out there and fight Cyclone versus Cyclone, and he's got 12 Cyclones with speed, and you've got 9 Cyclones without speed, it's going to be a bad time. And right now, honestly, Maru's just looking for that big 3 Raven timing. Both sides have 3 Ravens. I don't know who's got more energy. It's pretty similar. SCVs need to get pulled into this fight. Clem does not have any vision, and right now his positioning sucks. His positioning is good for defending the left, but not the right. Clem needs to pull back and reassemble his battle line. He's a little clumped right now. Auto turrets going down for both sides. The SCVs did not get pulled. Maru, can he break him right here, right now? The SCVs do get pulled. The auto turrets were good reactively there by Clem. Clem kills 4 Cyclones for 3, and both players lose 2 Ravens each. The drop moves out. It gets spotted, though. Maru's going to come in for another round. Clem, you got to keep this in your pants. He does have a tank. That tank, if it sieges up, it can keep him safe. Just 1 or 2 tank shots can change everything, but Maru, he wants to keep going aggressively. The medevac does go across the map. The tank is sieged very far away from the command center, and Maru's going to take advantage of that. Command center lifting is a good choice, and the mass repair is necessary. Cyclone drop goes into the 3rd base. Double gas is already there. The mech player keeping Clem off his 3rd is pretty big, but remember, Clem does not need to have quite as much economy right now. He's got the mobility, and he can deny these bases of Maru. Maru's got very slow unit production still, mostly Cyclones and Hellions. As the Stim and the 1-1 finishes, the Marine Marauder will be the better unit comp. Cyclones are trading here with each other. Nice drop for Clem. 8 SCVs was very nicely done, and he should just get the heck out of Dodge now. How many Cyclones? We got 12 on the defense. A couple tanks starting to come out in dribs and drabs for Mr. Maru. I like this choice. Clem goes back in the main base. He's pressuring the front at the same time. This might be an overextension, though. His 1-1's not quite done. It's still 10 seconds away. Drop in the main base. Going to pick off a bunch more of these SCVs. The SCVs try to fight. They're getting wrecked. Army on the front. He's going for it. Crazy man Clem diving on the front. He says, let's go. Stims in for the win. But the counter interference matrix on his tank in the north is big. His other tank comes in. His Marauders come in. Dude, Clem is on fire right now. He's going to break this position. Maintain a 2-tank position. He's got a 4th command center building behind it. 16 workers have gone down. And you can see that the Cyclones do not have staying power. Once 1-1 Marauders and Marines are hitting with medevacs and the like, the Cyclones suddenly start to fall off. And Clem with the perfect timing, great economic follow-up behind it. And if Maru can find a way to come back from here, he truly is a wizard. Because I gotta tell you, if you take a fight like that as a mech player, it's so hard to replace your expensive units, so easy for the bio player to replace theirs. Siege Tank is still shelling the third a little bit. I wouldn't mind a drop into that main base, to be honest. I know it's kind of risky. He's thinking about it. No, he's just going to pull back the Siege Tank. Good pullback. 4th Command Center on location, as we pointed out earlier. Armory's done. +2 attack starts. +2 armor is really not important against mech. It's much more important to get out just masses of economy and production. Concussive shells got made as well. Almost gets a Hellion on its way out there. 4th factory starts for Maru. So he's got an engineering base so we can build some turrets. 4th factory on this tech lab. He's going to try to get up to that 5 factory setup. But Maru's already traded quite poorly. Down 1,500 resources. The unit's lost, stuck on 3 base against 4. And as Clem transfers his workers down out of that main, he's looking fantastic. +2 weapons is done. Still doesn't got vehicle weapons. Vehicle weapons is pretty big because you're still building siege tanks. So getting vehicle weapon upgrades are big. Now keep in mind, Maru lost all of his Ravens, so it's just Viking tank Hellion style. The Marine sees those Hellions. I think as long as Clem's stable on his production, he should be able to defend things like Hellion drops pretty easily. Another Hellion goes down. Sensor Tower does see the army movements. No turrets blocking the edges. He's moving a barracks out there. Maru's broke. He can't really afford turrets. Just a single Sensor Tower is kind of the budget response here, which is a good call. Hellion run-by tries to come in. I think that's pretty easily defended here by Clem. Got Marauder tank. Yeah. What's he going to lose? Like 1 SCV maybe? Iron is an SCV building the 3rd starport. Is he already in 3 starports? What the hell? Clem's macro needs to chill out, dude. Clem's macro needs to chill out. You know, as Maru, you just saw a 2nd and 3rd starport and you're just like, oh God. He's building his own 2nd starport. He's trying to build a Thor as a sort of in-between anti-air response because he knows he's in trouble. He hasn't even got vehicle plating started. Oh no, he's only got +2 vehicle weapons. No plating on the way. That's a massive problem for Maru. He's going to need those upgrades or the bio are going to shred him. And we're going to see a big lib transition. Like, Thors can do pretty good versus libs, don't get me wrong. But it's going to be tough. The only problem I see with Clem's play is I think if he went 8 racks first, he could have just swamped him on the ground. Like, because he's so far out, I really feel he could be dropping the main, dropping the natural, and attacking the front. And there's just no way for him to stop that. Now, Clem tries to stim in the front. He'll take out 1 or 2 siege tanks and then pull back. Gets a siege position to deny that base. Good movement. He's got a big army coming in that right side, but his army is very clumped on that corner. Only 1 tank, though. Only 1 tank in range. Oh, this is huge. Clem is looking for the trades. He gets in the natural. He pulls back over there a little bit, trying to take out those Thors. The Thors are very tanky. Nice hot pickups for Maru. Maru's efficiency looking pretty good on the D, but the SCVs. Any SCVs Clem takes out right now is great. Any trade's a good trade for the French player. He gets 15 workers, takes out a few Vikings as well, and clears up the map control. Maru stuck on 3 bases. He kills a lot of units, and he's got to say, oh, well, you know, I traded okay. No, he did not. Clem has got mass command centers. He's got unlimited money. He's building Libs, Vikings, Fusion Core. He's thinking of taking the air control away from Maru, and then going for the heavy range Lib with the Fusion Core will be great. He's on 2-2 upgrades, is Clem, against +2 attack with +1 armor. Almost finished for Maru. Maru stuck turtling on 3 base. Now, Maru might look for the famous I'm dead, but I do 1 desperate counterattack and win the game. This is something Clem needs to be preparing himself for mentally, is if you like overcommit with a sloppy fight and then Maru just punches across the middle and gets on your production, you know, he could win because you've got so many more workers than him. So Maru right now, he understands innately how to make comebacks happen. He has the confidence in it. We saw it in the game versus Cure, right? Where it's like, well, I'm way behind on economy, but if I just take 1 good fight and I push and I overwhelm, I can do it. Viking advantage is there for Clem. I mean, taking a Viking fight's good, but the Thors can mess up the maths on this a little bit. He's got a quad drop going in the main. Oh, this is such a problem right now. Oh, the Sensor Tower doesn't cover it. There's no turrets. That could be a checkmate. Maru is in big trouble. Clem is all over him. Tanks, Marines, Marauders in the main. If I was Maru, I might on siege and just push right now, because this is going to be so costly to clear up, and yet there's so much more Bio Viking on the front. Clem doing this so well. Maru right now trying to dig in his heels, trying to fight back, and yet Clem is all over him. Clem looking for the 2-0 to tie this series up, guys. It looks like I did mess up the scoreboard at some point. Oh, no, he already got that point in the previous game. So he's looking to deny Maru's life, of course, deny the 3-2 from onside. Liberator in the north does get cleaned up by the Vikings, but losing the production, losing the depots. The armories have both gone down. The Marine Marauder tank fighting here, and he's going to take a pretty decent trade. The tanks and the Marauders will clean up at least a few of these Hellbats. The Thors take some good damage, picks up a lot of units and saves them. And of course, the rest of the army for Clem will rotate to the right. Maru cannot hang on. Clem gets the 2-0 versus him and ties up the series. All right. Ryung is out here. Let's see if the Terran Mastermind, the slow technical tactical player, can get a win for onside. Wait. What's the score at, guys? Neither side has had to revive a player, so I don't know why I put that on 3-3. Sorry, that's a bit of a misclick there. Clem in the bottom left, it should be 2 maps apiece, because obviously Liquid have lost Cura and Elazer. Onside have lost Maru and Solar. So that 2-0 was really good for Clem, because it made up for the fact that Cura didn't finish him. So you can imagine, if Cura did finish Maru off, and then Clem 2-0s them, and it's like the revived Maru, man, that's like pretty much, unless Ryung can take a map off Clem, that would have been series over. So that'll be a pretty unfortunate missed opportunity, but I don't like to just put all the blame on, oh, this guy, if only he did this one thing. I think it's a bit unreasonable. Sometimes we all as fans get a bit, oh, if he just did that. But I mean, StarCraft is filled with if he just did that moments. And the fact that Maru has made more ridiculous comebacks versus, even against Clem in years past, but against pretty much every player. I mean, we've seen Beyond get way ahead versus Maru, and Maru just slowly claw his way back into it. But definitely something that can be a little haunting for Cure, potentially. Now, Clem did scout. He saw that it was a 2-gas kind of wall-off build. And he's going quite defensive. 2 Reaper Hellion into Reactor. 2 Reaper Cyclone Reactor for Ryung. So that does delay Ryung's starport. You can see it's 8 seconds behind Clem's, because he had to spend the gas on the Cyclone. Not a massive difference between the two players, and we do expect a Cyclone to start up there for Clem a few seconds after. Here we go, guys. Reaper coming forward. Oh! Nice lock-ons. 2 SCVs do get picked off. Apparently Parting's trying to do a 72-hour straight stream. Wow, that's exciting. Is he going to sleep on it, or is he not? Interested to see what he does there, guys. Looks like we're going to see that double Cyclone production. 2 SCVs for 2 Reapers, I think is perfectly fine for Ryung. He's got to feel pretty good about that. And we are going to see the very similar setup. Now, what I don't like about this Cyclone opening is it's so samey. This is what I'm really starting to dislike in this matchup, is the fact that it's, you make Cyclones, you make Cyclones, and the only difference is, are you going to build a medevac and then Ravens, or do you go straight to Ravens? At least in this case, Ryung's the defender, Clem's the offensive player with the medevac, so we get to see a little bit more dynamic nature. He runs in with his Hellion, loses that, doesn't get any kills. So he's thrown away a few units. Clem's got to keep it in his pants now, because Ryung is trying to just absorb and defend. He's got 2 Cyclones on the natural. He'll rally these 2 into the main, and he should be rock solid safe against whatever Clem intends. Clem's going to boost forward with the medevac and have a bit of poking. So this is not the revival yet, so Ryung had to come out here. Same way Clem had to come out for his team. If these guys go 1-1, then we will probably see a Clem-Maru rematch, with the score being 3-3 going into that. If it's 2-0 for either side, that is a massive advantage for their team. Especially if Clem can keep himself alive. I mean, it's especially huge for Clem to maintain his life as the ace player on the team already. Okay, we've got Interference Matrix coming up here. Both sides. Third Command Center goes down for Ryung. Third Command Center is already up for Clem. And remember, we've seen so far... Oh, it's a fake medevac. I like this move. Look at this, guys. So, oh, no, but he's going to run up the ramp. Ryung sees him. Get out of there. Clem. Back off, Clem. Fake medevac in the main base. Unfortunately for him... Oh, he does. He forces the SCVs to pull. Okay, I think Ryung realizes what's up there. Uh-oh. Raven gets locked on. Uh-oh. Okay, Raven gets out of there. Oh, 3 Cyclones for 1. Bad trade there. Remember what we said about being aggressive in Cyclone versus Cyclone, bar any extenuating circumstances where you somehow out-micro them. attacking with those Cyclones can present a big opportunity for your opponent. We've now got 3 Ravens against 2. Remember, the medevac built early, which has delayed the Raven count for Clem. And now we are finding him on the defense. If he doesn't get SCVs in front, he will just die. He's at 7 SCVs, 7 Cyclones for Ryung, only 4 for Clem. Clem has defender's advantage, but he's only on 5, and he's already swapping off Cyclone production. I mean, Clem, you need to pull SCVs quick. Clem, watch out. Ryung's going to go for it. Wait, he's not spreading his Cyclones. He's not going to go for it. Attacking is very dangerous, but I think he realizes he's got the numbers. Here we go, Ravens first. Auto turret's going down. Nice defensive auto turret spam for Clem, but Clem has not pulled his own workers in. He has not pulled SCVs in. Now he does. He's only got 2 Cyclones left alive against 4. He's got to be real careful here. Both sides use up their Raven energy, but Ryung throws all 3 Ravens away. Very wasteful. He needs more damage. Clem, he needs to buy time. When that tank gets out, he's safe, but until then, this was a big danger moment. That being said, Ryung is not able to push in, and it was a big mistake. Ryung just threw away all 3 Ravens. He almost capitalized, but only getting 3 SCVs means it was not worth it. Tank is now stable, and that is an amazing opening because your Ravens are recharging energy. You can think of 3 Ravens gathering energy as like having half of a base mining or something like that. In terms of the value it's giving you for future units, auto turrets you can spam down, you can think of this as Clem being up on 62 workers now against Ryung on 56. It's kind of a funky way to think of it, but I think it really does hold up. Gets a Cyclone as well. Very nicely done. Now, Ryung is still... It's not like he's way behind in anything else. His barracks, in fact, are ahead. 4th and 5th reactor building, whilst the 4th and 5th barracks not quite done yet for Clem. So a few seconds ahead. 1-1 upgrades for Clem are at 48 seconds. Identical timings for both sides upgrades. And it seems like in terms of the air units, we've got 2 medevacs for Ryung. No medevac starting just yet for Clem. There we go. Goes for a turret on the left side as well. Turret on the right. I don't know about this turret. I feel like there's so much dead space on this map, they can just fly right past it. But at least it stops the most immediate drop angle, so it's something. I like that turret. Yeah, it can get sniped, but it gives you early warning of any drops trying to go around that side of the map. It'd be funny. Oh, this drop actually... Oh, he sees the army in the middle. He's going to counterattack the 3rd base. Okay, Clem's getting very aggressive, but that means he has very few units at home. His marine production is very light right now. Oh, that's massive. That's a massive Ryung with a sneaky drop. He sees the move out in the middle. He's got to get on the workers, though. A little slow to move forward. I think Ryung could have got a lot more damage there with better micro, but he's paranoid about defending at home, and rightfully so. He gets rid of a Cyclone, almost gets another one. He's going to need to pull the boys. He's got to hold this position. His Cyclone Marine getting taken out. Clem may get massive damage right now. There are 2 tanks on the high ground to the left. 2 big shots for Ryung, and Ryung will defend his 3rd. Back at home, Command Center survives for Clem, but he loses 10 workers, and Ryung only loses 4. Make it 5 as the siege tanks do get a few more shots off on those bad boys. The Marine's still there. Could pick off some depots. I think Ryung's easily back in this game now, as there's only 1 Raven left for Clem. And a messy situation is exactly what Ryung wanted. It's what he gets. He rotates his command center to the left side, and he says, okay, that's fine. It is what it is. Gonna pick up and boost out of that left. Saves both medevacs and pulls away. Clem rallying everything to the front. Oh, the turret! The turret! Oh, this is so bad for Ryung. Oh, no. That's not good for him at all. Clem's still got that forward position on the right side. A few SCVs, a long-distance mining. Ryung's map vision is lacking, and I think that's the scariest thing for him right now. This series is off the chain, man. What a great, exciting way to finish off the World Team League Winter 2023 season. Big shout-out once again, by the way, to SC Boy and the Chinese crew for hosting this tournament. This Team League, I really feel, has breathed life, love, and team support back into StarCraft 2 in the last year. Clem, leaving his main undefended. Oh, wait, what are we doing, mate? He's EF2s, though. Careful. Oh my god, Clem! Clem realizes he can't send his whole army back. Ryung! Oh, but the tanks on the right get a few... Oh, they get 1 or 2 shots off, but Ryung just shoving it. Ryung, the mad dog, getting on in here, but anti-armor missile does hold him off for now. Looks like the drop on the left does get cleaned up. One of these tanks needs to move to the left. He should take that back tank, Clem, and try to move it left. Oh, these tanks are moving forward. Ryung's getting a good position. The tank of Clem, going to try and defend. Oh, Clem's in a bit of a sloppy position. You can tell he's not really got everything control grouped right now. 4th base is building for Clem. Ryung does not have one. Tanks are moving forward. Ryung gets a great first volley. The Marines have to go forwards. The tanks for Clem not really getting any shots off. They were shooting random straggler Marines on the right. Oh my lord, Ryung. Oh, Clem just dropped trousers and tripped over and fell into his own poo pit. That was a very, very unfortunate one. He was in such a good position, but leaving that drop on the left, oh, was such a big problem. Oh, no. Why did he not have a Viking or some Marines left there? It's cost him potentially this entire game. He can't get over there. If he moves forward with those medevacs, he'll lose those. Oh, no. 21 workers going down. The command center might fall as well. Wow. Ryung goes to the command center. And Clem does save it. Big tank shots there landing. But, dude, huge mistakes for Clem. That Marine drop, he knew it was there. And then he just F2'd everything to the front. A lazy F2. Something Clem has been so disciplined about not F2ing recently. I guess he just figured his new units popping out would deal with it. And at exactly that moment, Ryung drops in the main. He pulls his army back. Realizes he's getting pushed on the front. Pulls his army back to the natural. And those tanks were just covering the right side, not that ramp. Dude, if Ryung can take this map, then Clem will need to win the next map. And then we're going into the ace match even, which is huge. Oh, he sees that Clem moved out. Ryung, he scans, he sees that Clem moved out with his Marines. Stims in for the win. Ryung, you absolute savage. GG. Okay, guys, we got to go back in this replay. Okay, so at this point, guys, he dealt with it. He dealt with the drop. The drop goes back to the right, unloads there. His army's kind of gathering over there, and then he just kind of gathers everything on the front as the drop comes in. To me, what kind of triggers me about this scenario is like you've got full vision here as Clem, and you don't build a Viking. Like for me, it's like just build one Viking. You know, we could have shot this down. But you could tell he was just like a little bit disorganized, and this sometimes happens. And then I guess he doesn't quite see this army, right? Let's look at Clem's map vision, because if you look at this, that army's coming through the middle. He has no idea. Oh yeah, and he definitely F2'd, guys. He definitely F2'd when he pulled the army because all of his spotters are coming back as well. And I think this Marine, one of those Marines, I think was meant to be in the middle, but oh yeah, a lazy F2. Oh, that's so bad. And he's like, whoa, what's happening? Oh, crap, you're here. And he only gets one tank shot on those Marines. I thought it was a few, but it was only one tank that fired. Those tanks were positioned. If they were up there, they would have forced those Marines back. It'd be a totally different game. If those tanks were just slightly up into the left, this does not work for Ryung. But damn, well played by Ryung. Great decisiveness. And Clem, F2, and a lapse in his map control. All because of a single drop just kind of throwing off his rhythm. Well done by Ryung. Really well done with that medevac. All right, into the next one, guys. We've got Ryung here going for a double depot wall off. He's faking a double gas build, denying Clem's scout, and he's actually going to go for a command center on the high ground. Interesting. Interesting. Slight mind game here for Ryung. Clem is going for the double gas build. I totally misinterpreted what you said. I get you, Just Danish. Yeah, that's like an English special. Right means the right side rather than the left side. It also means correct. In sentences where you're talking about right versus left, you should use correct or the better position, rather than saying he was on the right, which was he needed to be on the left. The left was the right position and the right was the wrong position. You're like, well, that there is a tongue twister. But those tanks out of position for Clem in the last game did hurt him for sure. Factory doing what it can. Man, this is going to be interesting to see what happens, because Ryung now, if he 2-0s Clem, then it doesn't give them the point, but it means Maru gets... Actually, it doesn't even mean Maru gets revived. It means Clem has to get revived, and Ryung has another 2 games to take a single map to win the series. Wouldn't that be the surprise? If Ryung, the weakest player on onside, the one players kind of overlook sometimes and forget that he is such a powerful player, if he were to 2-0 Clem and then go 1-1, and they don't even need to revive Maru, that would be impressive. Absolutely impressive. Of course, it's the second map between the two, so no extra potential point to be won here by Ryung. But by keeping his life alive and denying Clem a point, it would be massive. Double Cyclone already on the way for Clem. Whereas Ryung, on the 1-Rax Expand, is not going for the double Cyclones. I'm pretty sure Ryung will be playing Bio in the follow-up as well. Oh, we're going to have to see a pause, guys. Clem jumps in, Clem jumps out. Remember, he threw away a bunch of units in the early game of the last map. I like how Ryung has been playing an ultra defensive style, knowing that Clem gets antsy and wants to see what's going on and wants to micro and interact. So Ryung's whole strategy in that last game was like sit back and wait for you to make dumb attacks and get a bunch of free kills and then go counterattack. And it worked pretty well. Now, of course, his 3 Raven loss on the counterattack was not great. That was his biggest misstep in the game. But his double Marine drop did enough to make up for it. Well, that's a quick third command center. Wow. Wow. The way I said wow just kind of reminded me of Tasteless. Wow. It's a gaming OLED. Still the greatest monitor advertisement of all time. Cyclone Marine here in trouble. An SCV goes down. 2 SCVs do fall there. It's a scary moment right now. If Ryung gets away with this, he's got a far superior economic opening. But he does have to be careful being down on Cyclones. Medevac drop coming in behind this to rally to the main. Oh, he gets the Cyclone snipe. Nice move. Losing a Cyclone for just 2 SCVs and a Marine. And he's going to lose another Cyclone. Clem! Oh, God, Clem! Okay, Clem, this is not good. You're already behind economically. I know he's ahead by 2 workers with that third command center. His hasn't even started, remember. Clem needs more damage. And you know what? He lured Ryung pretty far out. These Cyclones will get a bit more. And he does. Oh, wow. Yeah, really good damage. He even forces an auto turret and gets damage on the Raven. He's going to boost left. A little dangerous. He could get intercepted, but Ryung a little slow on the Cyclone rotate. And, oh, even gets a Cyclone. Reap is coming in as well. Oh, Clem just going hard. He says, go hard or go home. Let's go for broke right now. Double it or nothing. He does end up losing a Raven, but he's getting a lot more SCV kills. He's stressing out Ryung. Ooh, Ryung Cyclones come forward. Clem here with that decisive chaotic micro. I'm talking about it like, oh my god, the first fight didn't go well. What are you doing? He comes in, gets a ton of SCVs with the follow-up drop. Does make it all worth it. 7 worker advantage. That being said, Ryung has a 3rd orbital finished. He will be able to bounce back in the next few minutes on the worker production. Problem, 2nd and 3rd barracks are already on the way. The Raven count as well is 2 for Ryung, but they don't have a big energy upgrade or energy advantage. But he will have 1 more Raven. He's going to have a 3rd Raven pop at the same time as the 2nd Raven for Clem. So he'll still have a single Raven advantage, which is nice. I would imagine we see a swap around into Starport on Reactor, Factory on Tech Lab, Tanks, Vikings, and of course extra barracks going down is really super necessary if we want to see that transition. And Stim does start up. Medevacs and Cyclones are repaired. Clem's going to go down the right side. He is in a good position right now. But you can see in the worker count, it's not as extreme as you might have considered with the damage that he did earlier. Units lost tab is overall pretty even, only slightly in Clem's favor. Ryung moving forward with his triple Raven Cyclone push. He's got a glimpse of the setup. He knows he's ahead there. This time he's not going to take damage to the counterattack though from the Cyclone drop. He's like, no, we let that Cyclone drop back in. Or Maru, sorry, was the one who let the Cyclone drop back in his base on Oceanborn, wasn't it? Cyclone's taking damage here. Oh, Clem gets 2. Oh, is Clem going to get 3? You're kidding me. Clem just killed 3 Cyclones. 3 Cyclones for free. 3 for free. That's a value discount bloody bargain that I'd be taking any day of the week, and Clem's very happy about it. Clem angry after that last game is what's being suggested by Twitch chat watching this game right now. They're saying, no, he's angry. He's mad. Look at the way he attacked with those Cyclones. The man is ready to just punch his opponent in the face right now. Look at that. 2 Cyclones for none. Oh, he's styling right now. Clem says, I can't believe I dropped a map. I'm going to make you pay for this, mate. And he is going to take out, oh, so many units. Picks up, gets out of there. Both Cyclones heavily damaged. But look, this has opened up the opportunity for the Cascade on the front. And it's a big problem right now for Ryung. The command center is going to take big damage. Ravens could even drop some auto turrets if he wants to confirm the kill. I think he's easy. Got this, though. The Cyclones are going to take it out. The orbital goes down. And that is a huge kill. Double Cyclone drop back in the main base. Clem pick it off even more. He saves him again. Another 5 SCVs go down. Well, Ryung cannot keep up with Clem's speed. This is ridiculous. This is the power of Clem's micro, is you need 3 Cyclones to stop every 2 of his, because his micro is just out of this world. He's catching Ryung not looking. He's catching Ryung being a little bit slower in all these engagements than he is. And that is the nature of Clem, isn't it? Clem is so fast, man. His ability to just get interaction going in many areas at once and then turn that to a massive advantage over time, second to none. Cyclone's being repaired. A Marine Scouter Clem sees the army roaming. Third command center starts rebuilding. Ryung trying to play bio, but 1-1 is already finished for Terran. +1 vehicle weapons on the way. 5 barracks pumping 4 reactors, 1 tech lab. And the medevac count, 4 medevacs are already on the map. Cyclone drop after being repaired up is going for round 16 of dive into the Terran base, kill a billion workers, and make Ryung want to pull his hair out. We'll see if Ryung handles it better. It is the first time hitting from the left angle. Ryung's putting his own pressure on, but with what? Oh my god. His army is so outnumbered! The Ravens have to run to the dead space knowing they can't get out of there. Here comes the Cyclone drop. Ryung stims over angrily, hoping this is the first time he actually shuts it down without an SCV loss, and it is, for now. But of course, Clem rotates into the main base and says, nah, 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 nah. Takes out 3 more SCVs, make it 4, make it 5. Might even get a 6th. Of course he gets a 6th. 69 workers for Clem, 45 for Ryung. Ryung is getting rolled over right now. Clem is all over him. Absolutely smashing face. Anti-armor missiles going down. Interference matrices. The massive army of Marines cascading forwards and overwhelming. Ryung right now trying to be the rocks on a beach. It's a little bit more like a tiny sandcastle made by a small child at high tide, though. He just gets completely washed away. And Clem does somewhat redeem himself for dropping that previous map. Ties up the series 3-3 and forces out both teams' revival. Holy crap, what? What in the hell? Clem in the top left obviously being revived for Team Liquid, but what? I almost spat my drink out. I was expecting to take a few minutes break between casting these games, and I loaded up the replay and went, Ryung? They're bringing out Ryung, their arguably weakest player. As a TVT sniper, he already went 1-1 with Clem. They're seeing if he can do it again. Remember, if onside win one game, they probably win the series. This was the same case as with Basilisk. For Clem to win for Team Liquid, he needs to 2-0 in the revival match. You know, why does he have to do that? Because Clem can't get revived for the ace match. If it's 1-1 and it's tied 4-4, we go to the final deciding match. It's a single map, and you both need to use a new player. Onside, still have Solar in the wings, a top-tier Zerg. And Liquid have Cure and Elazer. Cure cannot beat Zerg for the life of him. He is, no offense to Cure, I love Cure as a player. A year ago, he was great versus Zerg. He's horrendous against Zerg right now. He cannot beat Zerg. There is, I would put Elazer in 100% before Cure. I have no faith in Cure's ability to play against Zerg at the moment. He just seems a little bit lost on the current patch in the matchup for whatever reason. I think Elazer is also heavily unfavored. I think Solar's heavily favored would be the proper way to say that against Elazer. So if Clem drops another map here, if he doesn't 2-0, it's highly likely that onside win. And that was the situation he found himself in the previous round as well. You know, with guys like Raynor and Cyril ready for the ace match. That's you know, you kind of have to 2-0 in those scenarios. So Clem, after dropping that map 1, which I think he was in a decent position, but getting out positioned and caught off was a problem. Now, there is something that can be made as an adjustment. Clem got overly aggressive, threw away too many units game 1, fell behind, fought back to a pretty even position, and just slipped up in the mid game. Game 2, he went crazy aggressive again, and it actually paid off massively. I would say game 3, play a more measured gameplay. Do not try to force the issue. Do not try to just jump up the cliffs and dive drops in constantly. You can poke, but just take 10% off the commitment to your punches. Don't try to knock him out with every blow, because Ryung is going to be setting up those counter punches, those traps. If you come in with that Cyclone drop, I assure you he's going to have 3 Cyclones waiting. If you try to dive in the front with a Hellion, he will catch it with a Cyclone. That's what happened in game 1, and he needs to avoid that happening again. Now, not only that, Ryung here is going for a very quick reactor swap onto the factory. 1 Reaper into double Cyclone. He hasn't scouted at all. Very greedy build. Clem hasn't scouted either, but Clem's opened up a little bit more standard with 2 Reapers to start things off. Cyclone growth for Ryung will be pretty massive. Starport goes down behind that. The Reapers are going to try to get in there, and they've got about 10 seconds. This is a good start for Clem. Gets the SCV on the natural. It's a greedy opening. Gets punished. He's going to lose about 10, maybe 15 seconds of build time on this natural. Takes a while for that new SCV to get down there. I got to remember to breathe. I'm so excited. I'm so tense, just wondering what's going to happen here. Dude. Reactors on the way. Medevac coming for Clem. So Clem's saying, if it ain't broken, don't fix it problem. Ryung's just going to have more Cyclones than you, because that reactor's been up earlier. So Clem's going to be going to Cyclone 3 and 4 at the same time as Ryung's going to 5 and 6. Yeah, he's going to be basically a full round of Cyclones ahead. Because look at this. These 2 Cyclones finish. As long as there's no downtime, which I don't know, he might prioritize the Raven, actually. See. No, Ryung's like, nah, 5th and 6th Cyclone is the most important thing. He starts them at almost the same time as Clem starts 3 and 4. So a 2 Cyclone advantage. Very nice. Gets himself a Reaper kill. 3rd gas up for both players now. Clem's Cyclone drop moves out. Raven for both sides starting up. I don't think 2 Cyclones is irrecoverable by any means. Doesn't matter. Defender's advantage makes up for that. It's just if you go in with your drop, that can be a problem. Now, Clem goes home. Look at this. He's playing a more measured response. I like it. A more measured build. I enjoy this. I think him being a bit more chill is a good idea. He still doesn't know about the build order necessarily, but he can maybe assume by the fact that he kind of only saw 1 Reaper in those Cyclones so early. So he's expecting maybe a Cyclone timing, and he's trying to intercept any potential Cyclone timing hitting him. There is an argument that Clem should just keep attacking because he's so much better at that than anything else. His offense is 99% statistically. Defense, people used to say back at the previous Katowice, it's like 75 or 80 or something. It was one of the biggest gaps between someone's aggression versus defense stat that the other players rated them on. Reaper does go down. This is what I'm talking about. Free value. Free value. The defense, he will keep picking up free value, but nothing in position to defend. Oh, a Cyclone would be a great pickoff. Gets it. Gonna get a few SCVs as well. Big attack on the front, though. Could do damage. Wait. Where are the Cyclones? There's a lot of Cyclones. There's a lot of Cyclones. Careful. He pulls back from there. Clem needs to pull back and get SCVs in here. How many? He's got more Cyclones building. Right now, we've got 7, 8 Cyclones on the front. That's a pretty vicious timing. Ryung building a 3rd command center on location. The Cyclone drop ready to poke back in. However, there are 2 Cyclones ready to defend. Cyclone Raven does pull back. Ryung does not want to overcommit like on Hecate. And it looks like he attacks his own Cyclone there with a bit of a misclick. We'll repair that back up and get it to full life. 2nd and 3rd barracks do go down. And we can expect the same for Ryung momentarily. 3 Ravens for Clem, 2 for Ryung. And oh, hello. Maybe leave a Cyclone or 2 up here to catch it. If it does go back, would be a good idea. Raven tracking that medevac for now. Ryung knows about it. You don't want to send everything out, but it looks like, okay, he's going to leave those guys to defend. Fair enough. Double engineering bay for Clem is ahead. Clem is definitely in the lead. Up 3 workers. His 3rd base is finished earlier, but Ryung's is on location, so that gives him a bit of an advantage. A little bit of greed he got away with. That does feel like Clem's getting to a pretty even mid-game. Cyclone's going to pull back to the right side. He's got more Cyclones coming. But remember, Ryung actually has more overall. Clem's trying to force a fight. He has an inferior army right now. Clem forcing a fight with a smaller army. He doesn't get many auto turrets down, only a couple of them. And Clem puts his hand in the meat grinder, and he holds a goal for this young Terran. And he tries to force a fight on a ramp where his Ravens could not land auto turrets. Big mistake for him. Tries to get a Reaper, but great pullback for Ryung. That there was a bad trade, guys. 7 for 8 Cyclones. He loses his medevac as well. Both sides do lose a Raven. It was not a horrendous trade. It was a bad trade, as in it was negative. But not, oh my god, bad. It was just like unnecessary. But he's still got plenty of Raven energy. 3rd command center's floating out. 4th and 5th barracks will be building reactors shortly. And you can see the 2nd and 3rd barracks is up. 4th and 5th barracks not too far behind for Ryung. His upgrades are actually a little bit ahead on the armor. 20, 30 seconds behind on the attack. Alright, Reaper runs in, sees the SCV going up here to build that turret, I believe. That turret that he likes to build on the edge of the map. Gets itself an SCV kill, very nice. Cyclone drop will work its way down the left. See if he can just keep poking with these Cyclone drops to find future damage. Sensor tower for Ryung. Wants to set up on the defense. And it looks like he wants to get a turret down here as well. Not a bad call. That will end up being a freebie for this Cyclone drop, assuming Clem looks at it. We're on Clem's vision. Oh, he actually waits there. He sees the turret, but he hasn't noticed it yet. And there we go. He's going to go, oh, okay, free kill. Does go for the turret rather than the SCV, but Ryung cancels it before losing the money. 75 minerals refunded. Armory is on the way for both sides. Sorry, guys, for the edge scrolling there. My bad. Fourth command center starts at the exact same moment for both sides. 19 Marines for Ryung, 24 for Clem. Clem is up 1 Raven. Clem is down a handful of Cyclones. Just 2 in his drop, whereas there is this 5 Cyclone counterattack squad for Ryung. He's going to kind of look to do some little backstabs, run in behind, pick off some workers, do a run by, get in, get out. Big push on the right side, though. Feels like Ryung's not in position. But Clem just does a conservative... Oh, watch out, watch out, watch out, Clem! Ooh, lovely move there. The Sensor Tower gives him a little bit of warning. But you do not want to lose the command center, so he's going to have to stim the Marines and the SCVs to come up and help defend. The Cyclones come in as well? The Cyclones jump in from that side. Oh god, Clem's in trouble. Clem shoves the front though. Mass interference matrix. He goes after this. Ryung with a quick unsiege and a pullback. He is getting some very nice damage done. Anti-armor missile pushes him back though. Command center survives for Clem. Both sides keep their third base alive and lose similar worker counts. Man, the chaos. Talk about making the game chaotic. The way Ryung is just waiting for Clem to overextend and then backstabbing him. But Clem not watching his army. Unsieges, gets hit by a tank shot and gets baited into a bad situation. Auto turret's going to be real nice here though. Oh, overextension for Ryung. Clem made a mistake, but then Ryung got a bit too excited. Thought he could capitalize more than he could. Takes big damage. Double drop up in the north getting hunted down. If they stim again, they might catch those drops. Those, oh my god, watch out, watch out, watch out. Watch out, Ryung. Okay, Ryung gets to the dead space. He looks like he will survive. Ryung not able to retake that third right now. Units tab, 6 tanks for Clem, 4 for Ryung. Ryung is ahead 10 Marines. And the 2-2 similarly timed for both sides. Vehicle weapons is only now starting for Ryung. Clem has not begun. 4th command center for Clem as well on that left. Man, what a series we found. Action-packed, knife's edge TVT. The way Ryung is trying to wait for him to overextend and then shove the counterattack in, this is one of the best ways classically to defeat Clem because he is so habitually aggressive. You can pretty much always count on him shoving his whole army across the map and leaving an opening at home as long as you hide the fact that that's your intention. But Ryung's done it a few times in a row now. And Clem will start to clue onto that and be more and more prepared. One of the big changes in the last few years is 2021, Clem would get hit by a counterattack, and then immediately, when he defends it, he would grab his whole army and shove across the map, and he'd get hit by another counterattack. And he would just be stuck in a pattern of doing that over and over again, and he would never really learn, especially against Protoss players. I remember Zest doing this over and over again, where Clem was like, no, you have to defend now. And they would just refuse to defend, and he kept getting caught out. But this is the modern Clem. He's evolved. Nice interference matrices on those tanks. The Ravens, the Marines. Wow, Clem cleaning up the tanks pretty nicely. Happy to just overwhelm here. He had +2 attack done. It wasn't quite done for the Marines of Ryung. Nice advantage for Clem. Beautiful engagement. The Ravens, both still alive, go back to the third to repair. It's that efficiency and the heat of the action that's making him a next level player. Ryung's going to go for a big counterattack. But that leaves this base undefended. I mean, Clem scans, he could just pick up Marines and drop on the tanks. He could just shove on top of it, do whatever he wants. He's got plenty of units at home. Unlikely Ryung gets anything done with that counterattack. Marines do go forward. SCVs are pulled. Tanks unable to hold the line. Third base does get cleared. Tank sieging pretty slow here for Clem, but it's more than enough Marines on the defense, and that should be that. That is a huge advantage. The Marines and the tanks have all gone down. There's only 2 tanks, 34 Marines. Ryung rotates, or Clem, sorry, rotates back to group up. And Ryung way down on workers and army. He needs some magic, but with 2 tanks against 13 and only equal Marines, I'm not sure where that magic comes from. Where do you pull the rabbit out of? You don't have a hat to pull from. Your sleeves may be wide like a wizard's, but I don't know what you're going to pull out of there, Ryung. Once Clem's in charge like this, he is all over you. Marines moving forward, let's go. Nice tank shots on those Marines. Great positioning. I don't know what he can do. The Libs is a good idea. There's still a single Viking for Clem. I like the Marine move. Yeah, pull back your tanks. And if you can surprise him, maybe intercept some of this army with these Marines, this is a good idea. This is absolutely fast thinking on the fly, but he's been spotted. He's been spotted. And Clem is just going to group up his whole army, get back together. He's going to re-siege his tanks. Lib's on top. No, Lib not able to siege. Remember, 3-3 is on the way for Clem. Clem's up 13 workers with a 5th base now being built on location as well. He's going to stim his Marines down and chase after him. He's got a few Vikings in here as well. If you lose these medevacs, Ryung, you're in big trouble. He has to run away when those tanks get nearby. And there's no tanks guarding this base. That planetary is in jeopardy. Viking Raven hanging out. This base, can't afford to lose it. Clem's got a focus fire though. Clem's not watching. Clem's not watching. You need to focus fire your tanks, mate. 2 tanks on the right. Walk in. Those tanks not shift-clicked on the enemy siege tanks. Clem screwing the pooch on his micro. Huge mistake there. All he needed to do was shift-click the tanks. Otherwise, they'll keep shooting the planetary. The planetary is something that can attack you, so your siege tanks do not prioritize enemy units over it. They'll stop attacking a depot or a barracks to attack army that comes in range, but not a planetary. Tank goes down as well. Ryung? Dude, if Ryung makes a comeback from here, that's amazing. The fact that he's making Clem sweat a little bit isn't of itself impressive. He's got a command center floating down there. It's a 3rd orbital. Oh, big anti-armor missile though. But more Marines coming in. Clem overextending perhaps. No, but look at the way he pulls away and his tank line shreds. Absolutely shreds. Beautiful micro from Clem. Just when it thought like it looked like a trap was springing, he just pulls his Marines to the left, lets his tank line do their heavy lifting. And that's some excellent play from the Frenchman. Ryung does get a bit of damage. I love that. Liberator harass coming in on the left side. Ryung's playing a very good game, but keeping up with your opponent in these situations is very tough. Mass Mule dropping to try to boost his income. Desperately trying to hang on is Mr. Ryung. But 3-3 is going to be finished for Clem soon. He's already got +3 attack. Hasn't started for Ryung. Both sides have +1 vehicle weapons. Unit count, tank advantage is still 9 versus 8. Also a 30 Marine advantage for Clem at this moment. Nice tank shot. Tanks are actually out of range of each other. Oh, no, they're not apparently. That was bizarre. Maybe when he unsieged, the tank got pushed forward, actually. I think when it was sieged, it was actually in a slightly different position, but when they unsieged, I think it got kind of nudged forward. So it got nudged into tank range. Because otherwise, that makes no sense that they weren't shooting when they both had vision. Here we go. Nice counterattack for Mr. Clem. Ryung might have to just go for the base trade. I can't really see any other options for him. Marines and tanks shoving forward. He's actually eating a lot of planetary shots. Clem needs to pull back to his main base production. That's all he's got to do now is just survive. Marines coming in from 2 sides. He's losing so many Marines. He just lost 26 Marines in a siege tank to a planetary. Clem! Clem's getting sloppy right now, guys. He's got a Liberator. He's got 2 tanks and a few Marines. Ryung might still be able to force a base trade. He's already got tanks and Marines on the high ground. Clem does as well. But I really feel like Clem is playing an unnecessarily sloppy late game after 3 days of playing so many long, arduous matches against the best players in the world. It does have to grind you down. You know, your focus has to fray a little bit at some point. Tanks are shelling on Clem's bases. Clem still has 2 bases on the left that are mining. Ryung has none. And that will be a massive advantage. As long as he maintains his production, and look at that. Not only is he maintaining his production, he gets rid of the tanks. The Viking advantage is huge. There's no scans left to give vision. Whereas Clem, he's still got 2 orbitals, and of course he's got the Viking advantage on the front. So looking like as scrappy as a few of those mistakes were, he was very far ahead. He's still in a fantastic position. SCVs are not going to repair that planetary. It'll get blasted. Marines move down for Clem. Does take out a few siege tanks. Interesting maneuver there for him. He's going to pull down to this base. Still got mining happening though. The tank's moving in. He's going to inch in towards the production. Oh, he moves up the ramp. That's a bit of a wild move. He's going to stim. Oh, Clem forcing the issue a little bit here. As long as his tanks take out the other tank, it should be okay. He loses a few of his tanks, more than I thought he would. Same time, Marines are stimming into the planetary. Ryung trying to make it happen. But look, Clem, you can see he clicked on a few of the Marines in the center. Does take out about 10 Marines. Will lose his last mining base, but of course, he's got a big army that's rebuilt behind that. Ryung's going to tap out, but he makes Clem sweat. And he's still got another chance to get this map. Okay, all right. Let's go, man. Clem is going to go for a 2nd Rax proxy. So he's going to do a 2 Rax proxy. If he wins this game, he's got it in the bag. Ryung has no more chances left. And he's going 1 Rax expand. Interesting. Okay, so 1 Rax expand up against 2 barracks. It's not the most aggressive 2 barracks. This is more of a secretive one where if Ryung were to SCV scout, see the barracks, see the gas, he would kind of think, oh, this is a pretty normal build. But in fact, it is not. It's 2 Rax Reaper. 2nd gas goes down. That'll allow him to go factory before expand. And he's going to look to, of course, deny the SCV on the command center. Maybe get a few more kills. If he can get a Reaper kill, Clem could run away with this match. Most people come out with their Reaper and they scout, I guess, down here. I guess most people don't go here. It seems like a weird barracks placement. Is it just me? To me, because I feel like my Reaper might go out, check down, and then go north. But maybe it just goes straight left, that path. I think Ryung's likely to keep it at home with how he's played this series, so he might not scout the barracks, but he very well may, just because, as you can see, you always check for barracks around this area. Let's see how far out he ventures. If he can get wind of what's happening, he'll be much better prepared and do something like get a bunker on the natural. Now, arguably, having a 1-Rex expand means the natural is finished so much earlier. You might be able to finish and then just pull back to your main base. Whereas if you do a 2-gas build, your SCV is exposed longer on this command center because you don't start that command center until 2 minutes 20 about now. Here we go. 2 Reapers and an SCV, though, are coming in. He's got 1 SCV and a Reaper to defend, does Ryung. He starts a bunker, but seeing 2 Reapers, he realizes, uh-oh, this is a pretty committed attack. And, oh, Clem's even going to build his own bunker. This is slick. This is very slick. The Reapers looking for more. They're going to go in. They're going to go deep. They go forwards. They get a grenade. Maybe not the best call, because that gives up control of this bunker. Jumping up the cliff. Clem, too aggressive. There was no need to go up the cliff. He could have held the ramp and then potentially got the bunker up. And if he got the bunker up, that would have been massive. Doesn't want to lose his Reapers. Bunker has to get cancelled, but it dies. He doesn't cancel it. He does kill the enemy Reaper, though. Oh, man. The micro is good. Clem's micro is pretty good. His red hit point Reapers aren't dying. Oh, my gosh. He pulls back, too. He only loses 1 Reaper. Clem on fire right now. The command center does finish building, and there is a Hellion out. If the Hellion can kill all these Reapers, that could be really good. Oh, Clem. He loses 1. Okay, Clem, he stayed too long. He's got to leave. He's got to leave now. He has to leave now, but he's forced a big SCV pull. He does lose a second Reaper. More Reapers are building behind this. Command center starts, but he starts it in his main, not the natural, which is a little derpy in my opinion. Should have built that on the natural. He's already pretty far behind on that, and he's got good damage, but it's not like it's free. I'd also love to see him send this barracks home now. You can see he's still got 4 Reapers here, 2 Aliens and a few Marines. The Reaper's keeping the contain on for now. Not really affecting anything. Oh, Clem keeps trying to run up the ramp. Clem getting very antsy right now. He's trying to win aggressively using his strengths. But remember, Ryung playing defensively. He's waiting for Clem to overstep. He knows that Clem is looking for that big right hook, that big knockout blow. He's got the touch of death and he's looking to land it on the chin of Ryung. And Ryung is basically saying, look, I don't have that, but if I just wait for the perfect moment, we can take good fights. And what started as a very good fight, he jumped up there, and that was the first big mistake. And the second one was when he ran onto that ramp just then against the Hellions. So what turns from an amazing start to, I would say, an evenish position. Like, there's mules dropping, so there should be an SCV advantage for Ryung by quite a bit, actually, because this command center is going to lift down there. Should have been building on the natural. And, yeah, it's going to be reacted Cyclones. Big surprise there. A Cyclone Marine drop for the first time. He's actually going to get to be aggressive. Ryung could catch these Reapers. That'd be great. Uh-oh. There's an enemy Cyclone here, though. Clem's got his own Cyclones. You got to be careful. Reaper goes down, though. And Ryung gets yet another 100 resource unit for free, improving his resource advantage. Tech Lab on the starport starting for Clem, whereas the Ravens already on the way for Ryung. Ryung's just going to set up on the defense and wait. And Clem is the player who's going to look a bit more antsy. Now, I like this. Clem takes a third on location. He's thinking about, okay, might have overextended. I've got map control. I've got him being defensive. What do I do from here? Ravens and Cyclones seems to be the name of the early game for every player. I'm trying to remember who it was. We saw a Terran player the other day try to skip the Cyclone stage. He built 2 Cyclones, and then he just went no tanks, straight to 3 racks. Like, Tech Labs, you know, Marines, Stim, Shields, Medevacs. And I was like, well, this is a really cool thing if they don't actually attack you with the Cyclones, and then you get to Stim and Shields in 1-1. But there's also a big window, and I'm pretty sure the player just died to like a Cyclone drop and a Cyclone drop attack on the front because they had no units, no tanks, no Cyclones, and a few unupgraded Marines. It was way too greedy. But I do wonder, like, that's kind of the decision is where do you stop building Cyclones and go into the 3 barracks and get those upgrades? And the earlier you do it, arguably you're more vulnerable initially, but then you will have a much bigger Marine count and earlier upgrades for payoff in the early mid-game. And there we go. The swap has happened for Ryung. Clem at the same time. Okay, so 8 Cyclones seems to be basically the standard sort of number for these pros where they go, okay, 8 Cyclones. Let's take a look. Battlecruiser's going towards the main. He scans. He does not see those Cyclones on the edge. Hopefully he's looking. If he tells this to drop on the minimap, he could fly it into those Cyclones. Does Ryung see him? I doubt it. Ryung's going to build a turret on the edge. That's a great turret placement. Even if you're on the very edge of the map like we are, you can't get past. By the way, guys, there is a bit of treasure down there with an interesting shape on it. Little star type shape. 1-1 upgrades on both sides. 4th and 5th barracks should be going down for the players soon. Looks like Ryung's already actually at 4 barracks. That's weird. Normally you go 4th and 5th at the same time, but he's just had the money for the 4th, not the 5th. Interesting. 3 Ravens against just 2 for Clem. Clem's got 120 energy on one, 90 on the other, whereas these 3 Ravens, you can see 140, 120, and 80. Definitely an advantage overall on that energy count, as well as the extra Raven for Mr. Ryung. Ryung's going to slow this game right down. Now, what we've seen so far is Ryung basically waits for him to attack and then stims in with big marine counterattacks. For now, he's just defending with Cyclone Raven. He's got more spells. He is down 1 Cyclone, funnily enough. But I think with the Raven auto turrets available, should be perfectly fine. Oh! Cyclone drop goes in. He gets 3 SCVs. He's going to take out the turret to try to clear up a path home. And that's a very wise idea. On the natural. Oh! Loses a full energy Raven! Whoa, 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 whoa. He gets 5 SCVs. Guys, that's 5 SCVs, but that's from the Cyclone drop. All he got was mining time and setting a refinery on fire. Ryung is going to want to counterattack you if you keep trying to force the issue. Unless you just snap a Raven, you cheeky bugger. Clem trades a Cyclone for a Raven. Great trade. At least now it's only a 1 Raven advantage where it was 2 before, but right now the energy advantage is huge for Ryung. There are 3 tanks available for Clem. Oh, Cyclone drop goes right back in. Oh, he's so annoying. He stops the depot at 100% complete, or 99% complete, I should say. 21 out of 21. And there we go. Hellions, Ravens, Cyclone, and Marines moving forwards on the right side. Clem needs to defend this attack. He's up 10 workers right now. He's down 5 Marines. He's even in tanks. And the Ravens are the playmakers. It's all about these Ravens. Clem, he sees the army with the Marine. He's sieging his tanks in front. If he can get a volley off, that could be massive. Sensor turret, or sensor tower, sorry, is behind that. Cyclone drop ready to go back in the main, but he sees a few Marines. He decides, nah, 3rd base is going to be the goal. Dude, Clem's so annoying with these Cyclone drops. I really love the Cyclone drop harass. I think there's a reason why Clem and Beyond do this every single game. We're just seeing how agile it is in the correct hands. And look, he's keeping Cyclones, Marines, all these units pinned here. Oh, nope, Stim's ready. You ain't getting nothing done. He's just going to hide in the back and try to at least force those Marines to stay there. Both sides like ships crossing in the night, guys. Crossing paths, but not realizing the other is there. Oh, but Ryung's pulling back, which is bad for him. Clem realizes what's happening. Ryung does not. Oh, no. Ryung caught out of position right now. Clem's going to try to capitalize. Anti-armor missile on those Marines looking fantastic. Ryung is coming back with his whole army, but he is way out of position. The tanks take out the Cyclones and the Aliens. The command center goes down. He needs really clinical interference matrices. If he can shut down all 4 tanks, Ryung can bust it. 1, 2, 3, 4. He gets all 4. He only takes 1 tank shot. He's busting through. Clement does not have combat shields. He does have 1-1, but his Marines are outnumbered, and that's a slaughter. Ryung takes massive economic damage, but he does slaughter the army. Units lost tab is a very close to even. The Cyclone drop comes back in the main. Clem trying to stay active. He needs time. He needs time. He's got 5 barracks and a factory pumping. He's in his main base. He's even built a couple turrets in his main because he was expecting a base trade. The Cyclones rotating around this main, doing what they can, picking off Marines and SCVs galore. Clem being so annoying. Ryung is all in. Ryung has to break him right here, right now. This is almost like the Maru vs. Kua situation where he pulled the boys. The Cyclones are still alive. Chill out, Clem, you psychopath. But he doesn't have shields. Oh no, he loses his tank. His Marines are out in the open. No SCV pull. And that's just too much of an army advantage. Clem cannot hang on there. A lot of his army was not there, I guess. Some of it, sorry, was up in the main. Oh! Oh no! He GG's. Clem looks around. Okay, this is why he stayed in so long, guys. Because he accidentally, bad, panicky building placement. And you know what? This depot walled the tanks in there. But even if that depot wasn't there, if they try to go through the mineral line, they're blocked by these depots. He started throwing down panic depots in the base trade because he was expecting to lose all of his stuff out front. And he actually locked tanks back there as well. Which he only had 1 tank. It could have been 2 with a 3rd about to pop, but he needed to pull back and really turtle up to survive. He has such a big worker advantage, but of course, overcommitting to his push. And this was Ryung, you know, he pulled all the way home, which feels terrible. It feels so bad doing what he did earlier in this game. It feels so bad when you're both on opposite sides like that and you pull your whole army back. You're like, oh man, because I'm guaranteed to take massive economic damage. But when the fight is that clean, that's when it really works out. Now, I'll point out the one move that Clem should have done to make this a bit better for him. Here we go. Here's the moment. So this is the moment, guys, where Ryung's moving forward and Clem has just spotted this army with this Marine. So this Marine actually kind of loses Clem this game, funnily enough. So he sees this army. Now, Ryung, on the other hand, he has no idea that this army's up here. So Ryung's just like, cool, we'll push forward. Oh, I've been spotted. There's no fourth base to snipe. His army's probably moving down here. I better head home. And this is the first warning he gets of Clem being here. And he's like, oh, crud. And he's already halfway home. So he's like, okay, I better just head home. And it's a disaster because he's so far out of position. But we've got to account for the early leads that he got for himself. Combat shields, which he remembered and Clem forgot. And the fact that, hey, you've got those 2 ravens full of energy. Clem has none. And what does Clem have? He's got 23 marines. You've got 24 plus 6. So that's a pretty big advantage. That's 30 marines. The interference matrix is disable all tanks. You only take 1 tank shot. The combat shields is massive in this scenario. And this is such an excellently efficient fight that, yeah, you killed a base and some workers. It's not worth losing your whole army like that, though. Not unless you can survive for the next few minutes of this game. And he's already, like, spamming depots, which he doesn't need, right? He doesn't need these depots. He doesn't have a second factory coming up, whereas if he had a second factory building, it would really help him in the next few minutes to get his tank count back up. He does a great job of harassing with the cyclones, keeping him busy, but he just can't quite get enough units to defend. And I gotta say, hats off to Ryung, guys. If he lost this game, it was over. Instead, he ties up the series 4-4 and forces out the ace. A single map to decide it all. Holy crud. Okay, guys, Cure. I mean, he's a logical choice. He's a very strong player for Team Liquid. But, surprisingly, Onside have not picked his counter. I really think Solar counters Cure, but they've gone with Maru. Now, let's be real. Maru has an ungodly win rate versus Cure. And for me, I don't know. I think of how he kind of barely got by with that comeback against Cure on Oceanborn. And I'm like, you know, that should have been a 1-to-1. I feel like Solar's the better chance. And then I realized that I actually think when I watch Cure versus Maru, every time Maru makes a comeback like that, I feel like he gets more momentum, more confidence, and Cure loses confidence. So we're going to see what happens. I mean, you absolutely do not want Elazer against Maru. Obviously, the teams pick their players without knowing who the other side goes in. And maybe Solar was a little worried about ZVZ against Elazer. So they may have said, you know what, Maru's the better all-around pick. You can't really argue about... You can't say Maru's a bad choice. You could just maybe make an argument for, well, maybe there was a different choice that was a little more optimal. Anyways, this is going to decide it all. It's a single map. It becomes a best of 9 only in that case where when they're tied 3-3, or only if they're at the end of the fourth series, they end up tied 4-4, guys. So it's a very rare scenario. And this is they've all been 2 matches, little sets of 2 best of 2s between the players. And now we are in the final deciding map. And remember, it had to be a separate player for each team. Clem could not be revived. Ryung could not be revived. But Ryung has done his job taking a map there off of Clem in 2 separate series. Something Maru was not able to do. But now Maru faces Cure, a matchup that he dominates. And we'll see what goes on. Cure dropping mules. He's going Reapers, Factories. He does SCV Scout. SCV Scout for Maru as well. But Maru goes for the 1-Rax Expand. More economy for Maru. He's taking the defensive stance and saying, it's your job to come and do something to me, mate. I may have got you with this silly SCV pull before, but that's because I was in a desperate position. I'm not going to find myself there again. I also have to wonder if Maru chooses to play mech. He's tried to do it multiple times today. Once with success, but he was already miles ahead, and once with no success, even though it was a pretty even game. So we'll see if he tries that yet again. I would imagine Bio is the more stable play. Hey, getting yourself an SCV. Nice defense for Maru to start things off. What a series and what a fantastic season it's been for WTL. It's kind of crazy as well to think about Cure, Elazer, Clem fighting their way through for Team Liquid for so many days. And don't get me wrong, Clem has stolen the show for sure, no matter who ends up winning this this game. But Onside had such a good regular season, such a fantastic run. And that is why they are here waiting in the finals. That's why we haven't seen as much of them throughout these playoffs until today's match. Cyclones and a reactor on the way. Q is still trying to get in, can't find any openings, and Maru actually tries to chase him out there and says, "Oi, get back here and fight, you coward." Starport's a little faster for Q. He's going for double Cyclone production as well. Looks like he's going to try and intercept the Reaper. I think this is a really good choice. You know, there's a good chance of Maru trying to scout with that Reaper. So just leaving that Cyclone here. See how quick Maru responds? Not quick enough. Realizes it's caught, so he just tries to get as much damage done before it goes down. Third command center already on the way for Maru. And this is the big advantage of the 1-Rax expand. I always feel like if you can just plop that third base down before 4 minutes, your opening is delicious. On the other hand, this does require you delaying your third gas. So it is going to be a Medevac Cyclone opening for Maru, whereas it's Cyclone Raven for Cure. Four Cyclones and a Reaper already coming forwards. I think a bunker kind of shuts down Cyclone aggression, in my opinion. It's just so good at tanking their damage and buying you time. Attacking to the natural becomes not a great idea. Now the drop does move out for Maru. Oh, his bunker's going to get busted if he doesn't pull real quick. Oh god, it is going to actually just get taken down. Only one Marine inside, so very little damage coming out of it. Maru, oh gosh, he's taking damage. Q is getting in there right now. Q says, "You doubting me, boys? You think we need Clem to win?" Gets in and gets 8 SCVs. Well worth losing a couple Cyclones there. Fantastic. Gets the bunker as well. Good start here. Good start. Now, don't get me wrong. The Cyclone count's a bit more similar. Actually, no, he stopped building Cyclones. Maru has gone straight into Tank Raven, a more traditional style. That could leave an opening. If Q saves his energy, that could be really big. Oh, Q is going to go for it. I don't like that auto turret to start. Yeah, he loses his Reaper, doesn't get any kills. Good hot pickups. Get out of there, Q. Leave. He kind of showed his hand by setting up in vision and then taking a few seconds to actually attack. So I think he took a bit long there, did Q. I would love to see him build a third command center. He's now swapping the add-ons around, Barracks and Starport. More Cyclones still building. There could be an 8 Cyclone timing, but because he just used an auto turret, it's going to be a long time until he has his next interference matrix. If he can go with 2 matrices, though, disable the 2 siege tanks, that could be nice. It would, at the very least, force a lot of SCVs to get pulled out. Already the extra barracks are on the way. Maru going double engineering bay as well. Cyclones try to move out. Maru gets spotted and immediately turns around and goes home. As Q, you're not sure. You're like, did he turn home or did he continue? He's going to send the Cyclones to the watchtower to confirm. Oh my lord. I'm starving hungry, but I'm also just so nervous watching this series, and just the back and forth has been awesome. It has been so exciting. It's been so fun to see how everyone plays. Q, no doubt frustrated after that earlier loss. He's fighting to get revenge. He's fighting to redeem himself in the eyes of his team as well. He knows that this is frustrating, that Maru always seems to find a way back in these games. And it really talks about, for me, I really feel like there's a lot of guys like Cure and Solar, and maybe even like a Trap previously, where I think they're better than Maru in certain attributes. But Maru has this it factor. He has this ability to understand what he needs to do to get advantages, how to exploit his opponent's mentality, their weak spot, how to find kind of what they're good at focusing on and what they're bad at focusing on. And I feel like he's so good at adapting to the opponent. And this is such an interesting style where he's like, I'm just going to swap after 4 Cyclones and just go Marine Raven tank, just turtle up, and like I'm going to float my third out soon, and I'm going to really methodically move across. He overcommits with the medevac, but oh no, he doesn't. Never mind. 2 Cyclones for none. A Clem-esque maneuver there. Turret on the right side. And Cure, he's up in workers by a few. Those Cyclones do take out a couple of his Cyclone advantages. Ravens take a bit of a tickling. A few Marines do go down, but Maru's still got much faster Marine production. He's got that Marine count already up by 10. He's up a Raven as well. Trying to catch this Cyclone drop on the way home. Kyo's got to be careful. You don't want to just throw all these guys away. And yeah, that's kind of what he's doing right here. If he goes in any deeper, yeah. Oh, Kyo. Maru set a trap for this. What are you going to get? Oh, man, he loses only a few Marines. A few Marines for all those Cyclones. Now it's just Marine Tank Raven against Marine Tank Raven. And guess what? Q has got one less Raven. He's down 9 Marines. He's up a siege tank, so we got to give him that. I don't think he's that far behind, actually. The numbers, yeah, numbers are reasonably close. That with defender's advantage, he should be okay. Let's check the upgrades. 1-1 is a little bit further back. Shields is almost identical. Actually, no, 10 seconds behind for Cure. I think we're going to see a 4th command center in a moment. I think Maru is interested in getting further ahead in this game. That being said, he's got a lot of medevacs. He's boosting tanks forward. He really wants to take a nice forward position and put the pressure on Cure. He scans. He sees the army. He's going to have to move these tanks down. You got to watch out for the matrices. There's 3 Ravens with interference matrix. Maru, he's going to go for it. Interference matrices and the stim. It's just Marines against Marines. Oh, there's a lot of Marines in the back that Cure didn't bring into the fight. But he brings them in now, and I think he just has barely enough. He's got to pick up, though. Cure, pick up. Those tanks are coming out of siege. Cure tries to actually clear a siege tank. He picks up a little late there. Does save most of his units, though, and you know what? A good hold. That was a scary moment. Maru tried to force the issue. He does have a 4th command center building behind it, as we expected, but he stopped building workers for that. He was trying to finish the game. Both players start +2 armor, but not +2 attack. They don't have enough money to start both when they first click it. And Q has got the worker advantage. Maru seems like he's trying to force the issue a little bit. He splits a drop with some Marines and tanks down the bottom. And that could be very excellent, especially if he gets the engineering bays. But +2 attack finally starts for Maru. Maru starts finally building workers as well. I really felt like he was looking for the victory there and forced a maneuver that he did not need to force. That being said, he's still up in supply. He finds Cure out of position. Cure's got his own drop across the map. He's caught out of position. And look at this. Engineering bays, as we said. Oh, +2 armor's going to go down. That is costly. The Marines trying to pull away here. SCV's clumping for Cure. Cure, you got to be careful, mate. His siege tank will defend. His SCV's finally starting to go back to mining. They're dropping the main. There's not enough Marines. Cure very slow to respond and handle this. Maru getting a silly amount of damage now with a small drop. But a small drop is all you need sometimes if your opponent's out of position. 17 worker kills. Massive damage for Maru. New army cascading through the middle. The Marine counterattack has achieved nothing so far for Cure. He does move it in. Finally takes that tank out after taking 2 siege tank shots. Good move in. Oh, I do like this move in. I do like this move in. He is catching Maru with his army out of position a little bit. Gets a good little trade. However, does lose one of these medevacs. Interference matrix stops the boost, and that means the Vikings and the Marines can shut that one down. The full medevacs go down. Cure gets a decent, like I would say it's a relatively even trade because he did kill a lot of the units rallying out, but he doesn't really damage the economy. So he's on 4 command centers, but only 50 workers. Maru's on 4, on 70 workers. And that is fantastic. Units lost up almost 2,000 ahead for Maru. Maru's down 4 siege tanks, but he's up a little in Marines. He's still got a Raven, and he's got the Viking advantage with Liberators on the way. Cure out here trying to do a bit of a Marine backstab, but now he gets separated from his base. That's kind of scary. Running home is the right call. He picks up and saves some of the Marines. Oh no, he tries to go back, but the interference matrix and the Vikings hunting him down. If he loses even more, he's going to lose another full medevac, and he already left 5 or 6 Marines behind. Cure does jump down, gets a siege tank there and a Raven, but okay, gets the siege tank as well, but his right side's open. His right side is open. Maru senses it, realizes that's way too many tanks on the left. You can't be sieged in 2 places at once, mate. That is not possible. 16 workers going down. Maru realizing he's got the advantage in this ace match. On side with an amazing regular season. They have been killing it all season long, and they are the final bosses for a reason. Maru may be in a downturn, may be in a slump. He may be washed according to some of those casual fans, but those who've been watching the WTL regular season know that this man has been performing when it counts, and he's doing it once again in the team league. Playing for his mates, playing for his bros, playing for onside. He's been doing very, very well. It's 4-4, and this game will decide the whole thing. Cure on the back foot, taking a massive couple tank shots on those Marines. Viking comes forward, does take out the Viking. The Liberator could have won that trade if it decided to fight, but of course, pulls back, doesn't want to risk it. Maru rotating left, 2 starports and a 5th command center on the way. He's getting ready for that air transition. Does take out that Reddit point Viking, which means his Liberator can start crawling forward. Cure, get out of there. There's 2 tanks on the south, unsiege. Liberator will get a few shots off, though. Has to inch these tanks back little by little. He needs to get some tanks down below the planetary to the left. Otherwise, the next siege is going to isolate him. Siege tank does get taken out there for Maru. But the Liberator killing 1, killing 2 siege tanks. The Marines take care of it. But now Maru's in range of the planetary. He's going to go for Brokey. Dives in. He just clicks on that planetary. Pulls back with some pickups and some pullbacks just on the ground. Looks like this position will get broken. He has to pull back, I believe. Bit of an awkward spot for Maru. Maru's excited. You can tell he's so happy to be crushing here with Bio up against Cure. And he's only in this position because he made an amazing comeback earlier today against Cure. This time he didn't even need to make the comeback. He just gets in there. That drop coming in the left side, wreaking havoc, doing so much damage and setting him up for some fantastic next steps. Maru on fire, onside the WTL Winter 2023 champs.